was a one-horned, one-eyed, flying purple people eater. One-horned, one-eyed, flying purple people eater. One-horned, one-eyed, flying purple people eater. Sure looks strange to me. Wow.
People here sure look strange to me. There's a one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people here. One-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people here. One-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people here. Sure look strange to me. It looks like a purple people eater to me. It was a
Hello, everybody. It's Monday. Doing our Monday thing. Got Andrew on the line. He just he put in the call.
Ooh,
Hi, everybody. Hey. How you doing?
Good. Some memory in the back. And
Your mic. No sign of Brian yet. Hopefully he gets here soon.
Yo!
Yo!
yeah.
I think you don't have... I think it picked the different mic for you, Andrew. So... Skype's getting aggressive with this, like, hey, you gotta update stuff.
Well, Cliff started telling us it's going to update and everything's going to change.
Well, I'm actually looking forward to it because they're gonna add NDI support, so hopefully it will mean we'll have less issues with ducking, and we can do one Skype line instead of multiples, and less of the problems that go along with that. But I want to know that that's there before I upgrade, because the last time it forced us to upgrade, we couldn't do any of the stuff that we normally do to capture video.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, trepidation with everything Microsoft. They announce something really cool, and then you get it. You're like, but they're talking about the built-in screen recording, all that other stuff. It sounds great, guys.
Yeah. NDI. So JB Phobic says there's no NDI support yet. I did see. I looked up right before the show. There's it's in one of the pre-release betas now that they have the NDI tech in there. But then you're getting into getting on the beta ring and dealing with beta bugs.
Yeah. Fool me once, maybe fool me about 17 times. Then I learned my lesson.
How you doing, Justin?
Good actually.
Yeah.
Had a good morning, and officially split the Patreons.
That's right.
Yesterday.
Oh my God. I can I tell you, officially split. I'm like, no. And,
No. That'll, I'm sure, way down the road.
I meant you and me.
Oh, well, come on. You know that not even death is a strong enough thing for us to part ways, Andrew. I swear to God, one day, if Andrew and I had a knockdown drag-out fight that left us, totally at odds, or there was some horrible accident befell one of us, I just know that one day I would get an email from the AI that Andrew is set up to replicate his full existence in 2 months' time. Wait, 2 seconds.
Yeah, Justin, your connection kind of crapped the bed a little bit.
Yeah, I'm uploading a thing
That's what it is.
now, but it should be done soon.
One of the things I kind of dug in one of the early Wolverine movies, which I wish we'd seen that instead of, was like when they showed like Wolverine and Sabretooth, like through the years, they're being buddies, you know, fighting in different wars and all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, I want to see that movie. Not like, no, we hate each other. Like this, like these two mutants, you know, renegades on, you know, fighting on the run over a century or so.
Mm-hmm.
It just sounds like a much more amazing story than, you know, usually the ones we got.
Yeah. Brian is 7
Yeah,
minutes
right.
up.
Because it gets you into this like kind of Benjamin Button-y, like, you know, like vampire story, kind of like, well, everyone we know is gonna die, so even if I don't like you, we're the only ones that are gonna be around in 200 years. So, want to hang out, I guess.
And I guess that's like a great area because I know that like in some of the related X-Men Marvel stuff, and I don't know the titles, but I know like Hellfire Club and some of the other ones, like there's a lot of history there. There's like 19th century sort of stories and stuff. Like you could do a very Interview with a Vampire kind of, you know, superhero sort of story doing that. Like, let's just go, what's it like to be a superhero in the Marvel universe in the 19th century?
Yeah.
That is
Or to have
interesting
powers.
because I know that they were talking about doing a Hellfire Club show. I wonder whatever happened to it.
Yeah. Anybody here watched Cloak and Dagger yet? Is it worth it? I loved Runaways.
I haven't seen Cloak and Dagger. I did see that it got renewed over the weekend.
Yeah.
I liked Runaways, but I didn't finish it. A bunch of other stuff came out.
I didn't finish. I never finished. Was Altered Carbon.
Oh yeah, I got like 2 episodes into that and just.
I was like, hey, it's good. And then they're like, and therefore anybody over 100 needs to die because I've lived a long life and I've decided nobody else gets to do. I'm like, this is like, your ethics are horrible here and everything else here is just sort of like, it was really kind of cool and then it was kind of not cool and then.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't. I think, you know, Tom read the books and I think he watched it and he said that some of the world bending stuff is better in the books or gets better in the season. But you know, the first couple episodes I was just super confused about why a lot of stuff was happening.
And it's like some stuff like, man, like I have this thing on like I don't like shows like flashbacks really drive me nuts. Like
Yeah.
I'm really kind of sick of the flash. Like I started watching Lost in Space. Like, all right, they're on the planet. They go, no, flashback of how we got here. And like, oh God, I hated it. I mean, it worked kind of well for the first couple seasons of Lost, and then it got really tedious. And now please don't do that again.
Yeah.
And that kind of like the how I got here sort of, it's got to be really compelling. It's got to, but that structure is just, I'm so sick of that structure now.
That reminds me, I didn't finish the Netflix Lost in Space either.
I didn't finish the first episode.
The first, yeah, I don't know. It was good too. I liked the first episode.
I couldn't. I just once, hey, here's how we got here. Like, okay, the kid didn't pass the test. I don't care. I don't care. Space, monsters in space, not his California Achievement Test scores.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird drop for the first episode, but I don't know. But yeah, Hilo Kologo says it turns around, and Brian was a big fan of it, but he's a family man.
Brian's opinion is affected by whoever's in the room with him.
What else? Last Chance U is back.
Did you?
Oh, what's up?
By the way, Bryce, have you talked to Brian about Sorry to Bother You?
Yeah, he called me right after he called you, and we just gushed about it for like 5 minutes. It was so great. I was so glad he enjoyed it.
Did you get to some of his angst about the movie?
I don't think so. We only talked for a few
fairly
minutes about it.
predictably. Brian imprinted himself on the main character, and then was personally horrifyingly disturbed when he found that he indeed had more in common with Armie Hammer's character.
Yeah.
And it just shook him to his very core.
That was the interesting thing.
Spoilers, guys. Spoilers.
Well, we're talking around it.
Yeah,
Bryce, you gotta understand with me.
yeah.
Well, okay. Well then, That's the exact thing that I was
Sixth
interested
Sense
in
was
him
ruined
watching.
for me by the trailer.
That the thing that we're talking about, Justin, was the exact thing that I was excited for him to kind of come to terms with in that movie, because I can see him thinking he's that one character and then him being the other character.
So,
But
met the movie with like,
Yeah, the thing that
my girlfriend will tell you, like, I always know when to get up in a movie. I'm like, don't I? Because I'll be like,
To go to
I'll
the
get up
bathroom?
and I'll come back. She says, you didn't miss anything. I'm like, have I ever? She's like, no. I'm like, I can tell you the beat because of this setup where this thing's gonna go. And now I'm like, oh, I got 4 minutes to go to the restroom because this is where they're gonna explain the da 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 this, or this character's gonna come in, and then,
Mhm.
So I mean, I can't wait. I don't mean to. I'm like,
yeah.
if I hear this, I'll be like, oh.
yeah.
It really, there's nothing about the plot there. I'll be curious when you see it to do it. But it is one of my favorite things about Brian's brain is that he just like seamlessly can mold his own life over this other thing.
Remember when there's something Kevin Smith talked about when they had Silent or Jay, they made like Jay gay. And then Kevin Smith got a lot of like angry emails and stuff from guys who are like, wait, why is he gay? What does it say about me? Because I identify with him. And he's like, what does it say about you if this is, this character that you've tried to make your role model or whatever, has this, realization about themselves. And, it's like, either it says nothing or everything.
Justin, did you watch Last Chance U on Netflix at any point?
I have not. No.
Oh man, I thought you would definitely get into that. They got a new season of that, and it's a new school. It's very good. Oh.
Yeah,
Yo.
that's one of those things where it's like it's hard to fit into the pattern because there's so much like prestige television that I haven't seen that actually has not watched that I kind of need to catch up. Like I need to be up on Preacher before I start to get into any of stuff like that. Although the one show that we did start watching last night was Queer Eye.
Yeah.
The new Queer Eye.
It's good, isn't it?
Queer Eye is, I mean, it's what's amazing, and it was something that I didn't realize until yesterday, is like how much reality television has kind of evolved, because it's a very 90s reality TV thing even now. Like, to the point where it's like, well, like how staged is it? Like how coached is it? Even if it's not, it's like, even if this is just a staged morality play, it's good.
Yeah. It's interesting to see, that show come back and have, come back to a different America.
Yeah, no, it was interesting. It's also interesting to see how, like, in the 90s, the Fab Five were like capital G gay, like in a way that you would almost think is like, okay, well, where are we comfortable with like these as like, from the woods of the homosexual woodland comes the gay elves that descend upon your town and bring their gifts to you. And it's interesting to see where they landed with that, because they are very expressive personalities, but it's in a subtly kind of different way.
Yeah. Is your upload finished, Justin, or is it still going?
It's literally just finished, so I'm going to hang up and call you back.
Great. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Justin, Robert Young. Okay, give it in a second. Give it in a second. Coming in. Okay, that's looking good. It's looking good.
Oh, was it a bandwidth thing?
Yeah, I need to get video from you though.
Oh, how's that?
No video, yo.
How's that?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. You can see us, right, Andrew?
He is.
Okay.
Did Skype successfully demand that you upgrade yet?
Nope.
Because it's now like making new shouts like, this version's going away. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we talked about that. It's kind of a thing. But yeah, no, not yet. But it's definitely on the horizon.
Do we know if the new version is appreciably crummier?
No, we don't.
I mean,
know yet.
certainly that's been its track record. Is that 100% of the time it gets worse?
Yeah, this is what we were talking about because it's getting NDI support in the future, supposedly soon. And if it gets NDI support, I would happily upgrade for that because that would solve a lot of our problems.
Hello. Sorry for the tardiness. I hit more stoplights than usual, and I guess like after I don't know 5 minutes of a red light, there's some people collecting money for who the heck knows what. Person 2 cars in front of me just decides now's a good time to conduct a business transaction and give money, and then the light turns green, and it's just like, really? And so I give a polite honk.
Wait. What was this transaction?
I don't know, like the giving of money and the purchasing of assuaged guilt.
Well, I mean, wait, was it somebody
Was it like a boot
helping a
or
homeless
giving
person out?
money to a homeless person?
I didn't know. They didn't have proper signage to indicate what it was.
Like
But it was
roses,
was-
mangoes,
it was
an
three-
old haunted sword.
Oranges?
It was 3 delightful middle-aged women walking around collecting money for who the heck cares, and somebody decided they wanted that, and so I politely honk, and then one of the ladies gives me one of these, gives it like, no, you're just not gonna go, even though the light's green, and you're too, like I'm.
Did you lay on the horn? If I beep and they give me the hand, I'm holding on the horn.
Yeah, that was a moment.
I'm generally kind of patient towards people who are on the side of the road engaged in some sort of transaction because I assume it's not their preferred gig.
Well, these ladies were clearly employed by whatever charity they were representing.
Sure, and they'll do things like the boot or whatever.
Yeah.
For the firefighters.
I have no details about what this was because it started off like somebody's trying to get money. It sounded like a homeless person, and I, Brian Brushwood, who have a home, needed to get home, and they probably weren't.
No. And to be honest, that would be pretty different. I think I wouldn't have it. Although that would change very quickly if even if it was somebody really down on their luck gave me one of these,
Oh yeah, I agree.
that would change everything still. But yeah.
Justin, you have a hard out today, right?
Yes,
Okay.
DTNS.
Well, I'm good to go if you guys are.
Yep.
All right, then take it away in 3, 2.
Welcome to the Weird Things podcast. I'm Andrew Main, joined by Brian Brushwood,
Hello, beautiful people.
Justin Robert Young,
Hello, it's me.
and Mr. Bryce Castillo, our producer extraordinaire.
Hi, everybody.
Oh my God, I'm looking at my show notes here.
Uh-oh.
What does this say? No, this does not say this. This is my Adobe ID. Let me get over the show notes here.
What does it say? I have to re-up my Adobe Cloud? That's a very weird note I wrote myself.
Oh gosh. It's wait. Spider, snake, what?
Yeah, getting back to our roots. Speaking of
Oh
which,
man, this is a twist. It's a twist on a classic here, guys. I'm gonna read you a story, and you got to decide: spider, snake, what?
this is
Ready?
a fun
Classic
game.
game. Yeah.
This sounds like a night attack bit. I love it.
Oh well, sorry. Don't watch the show.
No, that's a compliment. I love it.
Yeah, we're not accusing
Is
you of
that really
stealing.
a compliment? Is it?
That's my bit, Andrew. I make the games around here.
There's only room for one game master. I just swallowed
Well,
my gum.
normally it's always spiders or it's snakes. So I figured we would just sort of jump the gun and make it spider snake. What? Okay.
All right, let's go.
We're gonna start off with here we go. Let's go to the first one I have here. What is possibly on the loose in Britain?
Spiro the Fudge, after a 8-hour flight, land all sleepy-eyed.
These are found in a parking lot. And they're like, oh, these.
I believe it's a car park.
Okay, on the loose in a parking lot, car park, on the wrong side of the street.
A parking lot at Bateman's Yard Stable in Somercotes, Derbyshire, England, which I hear is the favored one to win the Kentucky Derby.
You know, it's lit, fam, at Derbyshire.
All right, let's begin our investigation by assessing, was there any damage during the incident when this was found? Like property damage afterwards.
Well, because all right, yeah. So spiders, snakes, or what? Like you would have to think that spiders. There's got to be a lot of spiders for it to be a problem in a parking lot,
well,
right?
But we also know that sometimes there's migrations, or maybe like a whole bunch of babies hatch at once, and just this,
all right. So here's what they found. They found these, like they describe as pots or jars or some sort of containers were found there, opened, and they found like baby versions of these things, and they're like, my parents on the loose.
Oh, so in that case,
does sound like spiders.
Well, wait, is it like a pot filled with like tarantulas or something, or giant?
Ding ding.
Really? Oh my God!
Bird-eating tarantulas possibly on the loose in Britain.
Oh my God!
Bird eating. I mean, like that's like, I don't know. I mean, what's the birds in Britain, like they love their birds.
Oh my God!
Oh wow! Look at this crawling up a bird's leg.
It calls them the size of dinner plates.
They are big. My goodness.
Brazilian pink bird eating spiders.
My word, those are the ones that they killed hundreds of, if not thousands, in Kingdom of the Spiders. That that William Shatner vehicle from the 70s. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wait, Bryce, go back to the bullet points there. Giant bird-eating tarantula the size of dinner plates could be on the loose. Exaggeration. Pots containing them were run over by a vehicle in a car park in Derbyshire. There you go. 3 baby tarantulas are found to survive the accident, but the driver of the car believes he saw 2 large spiders scuttling away.
I mean, so is this a smuggling thing, or like is this an invasive species? My guess is this doesn't sound like the kind of animal that naturally loves the balmy clime of jolly England.
Yeah, I mean, it's somebody. I mean, it could be. Who knows what the purposes it could have been for? But on the loose, Britain. I'm sorry, you're lost.
Yeah,
spiders, giant spiders.
I think that's like, because we've all accidentally left something in a parking lot or on top of your car and you drive it away, like, and you have that falling pit in your stomach. That's like, oh my God, did I must have. Imagine if it's several pots worth of tarantulas. That's definitely a bad Monday.
Well, and also of all the ways to find out that that's where they are because they got run over. Someone like, clong, clong, clong. Oh dear, what did I do? No, I mean.
Oh, next up, this couple, their doorbell rang. One of those electronic fancy doorbells. And what delightful scamp was ringing the door?
Is it a spider, a snake, or what?
I think it's what? I think it's a monkey or something. I think this took place. I think.
No, I'm going to go with snake because we've seen those pictures of like the snakes like reaching up, like almost to like doorbell level. I've seen those on the internet before. I'm gonna go snake, and also it would just be an amazing visual. If like in that Ring doorbell fisheye lens, you just saw just this gigantic, would look like a massive snake head.
And it says sales call.
UPI at Kansas
Have you
couple
heard
said their
about
doorbell
Lord
camera
and
alerted them to a visitor. It turned out to be blank. So-and-so said Mackenzie Bowen said she's working she's at work on Tuesday when her doorbell camera sent notifications to her smartwatch about a visitor at the front door of her home. I was getting notifications front door, and my husband texted me and said it was actually
I feel like it's a bear or a moose or something. Yeah. Do we get the location? Where did this take place?
Kansas.
Kansas. Okay, so then, I'll say a deer. Maybe a deer, but then that wouldn't be on the Weird Things podcast.
Come on, in the same way that dog bites man isn't a story, is deer rings doorbell a story?
That's a good point.
Ding
That's a
Dong
good point.
Deer. Ding
I mean,
Dong Deer is a good title, though.
Although maybe it was playing Deer Dong Ditch.
Answer is snakes live across Kansas couple's
Oh my
doorbell
gosh!
camera. And there's the video just as Justin asked for.
Wow.
A horrific view of a snake head over a doorbell camera.
Tell me, have you been saved? Have you accepted Jesus Christ as your savior?
Have you heard the good news?
Look at it.
Do we have time to talk about your immortal soul? I love the fact that we're just doing Cobra Commander's voice.
Cobra! All right. Virginia man finds what inside his toilet bowl?
Oh, that's gotta be a snake, right?
Yep. All right. Easy one.
Okay.
Okay.
Speed round.
Let's
Speed
go
round.
here. What did this Connecticut woman find in her grapes?
In her grapes?
Yeah.
A live wasp?
No.
I mean, that would be spider territory, right?
Yeah, but also not newsworthy. I mean, I found spiders. I woke up with a spider crawling on the bed when we stayed at the haunted compound the other night. So
I woke up like this, spider crawling on my face.
I feel like this has to be a what? This has to be a sideways what?
That's a black widow spider. All right, moving right along.
Holy cow! Holy cow! Yeah, that's newsworthy.
She found two of them.
Yeah.
Oh,
By the way, I love Brian. Your reaction to that story was almost identical to the Spin Doctor's Two Princes like scat. You were so startled.
Ba-da-ba-deep, ba-da-beep, ba-da-ba-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo, Black Widow. Yeah.
All right. A Walmart store in Tennessee was closed for about 6 hours when blank wandered in.
To be closed for 6 hours would that would be that it gets scared and you can't find it, right? That it's something dangerous, but you can't find it.
Or there are so many
so
of it,
big.
like a river of spiders come in and they just spread out, and everyone's like, "Whoa!" And you're like, "All right, let's take a moment." I'm gonna go for a river of spiders.
A river of spiders is an amazing, just like the idea that would be listed on an insurance form somewhere.
Well, that was like a Billy Joel song from his darker period,
It's like
River of
he just got
spiders
divorced.
crawling down the road.
Yeah.
That's something.
But have you guys ever seen like a spider, a cluster of spider eggs hatch, and they all come pouring out?
It's the worst thing ever, Brian. It is the worst thing.
It's terrifying. Yeah. So I
think they all woke up and were like, "Man, I need a bottle of water," and they all ran into the same Walmart.
No, it is a singular animal.
So I'm going to say it's either a deadly enough snake that they had to. Oh, did you just flash it?
Now we saw it.
No,
I should have asked the location, because now it does make sense. We saw that it's Tennessee, and then it does make sense that it would be multiple raccoons invading. Is that what happened?
Trespassing raccoon.
Oh, just
and
one?
The article here uses a pejorative. It says Walmart said wildlife removal service was summoned to the store and spent hours searching for the wild trash panda.
I mean, to be fair.
Wondering what climbs outside of wall of a New York State Target.
That would be great if in response like the old Mr. Show bit, Target runs an ad like and unlike some discount stores, we're always trash panda free.
Yeah.
We never have raccoons.
Climbing the wall. Anybody guess?
For sorry, which one?
This Target. Somebody climbing the Target.
Where was it in New York?
Climbing the wall of this Target. Outside.
Outside of a New York Target?
New York Target. New York City Target or upstate or
Long Island.
Long Island? Okay. Yeah, I'll go snakes. Snakes.
Yeah, I'll go snakes. I'll back your play here.
Wrong. Iguana. I mean, I don't know how you would have guessed that one. A wandering iguana climbs outside wall of New York State Target. Somebody's pet, this little guy, this iguana, like, I'm spider iguana, man. What are you doing? I'm trying to fight crime here. And they flipped him off.
I'm like, I heard I could get French citizenship if I'm in the right place at the right time.
All right, ready for speed round. Runaway what blocks traffic on Florida Bridge?
That's got to be a what? That's got to be a
Alligator.
Yeah.
Alligator.
Florida, that's a man bites dog story, Justin.
or dog bites man. Yeah. Burmese
Florida, man bites dog.
Burmese python.
Anybody?
Oh, in the chat, somebody says emu. I like that one. I'm gonna go emu.
Yep, it's an emu. That
What?
was the story. Emu.
No kidding.
Emu.
Hey, you got video of it. That's great.
It's huge. Oh my gosh.
Brian, was this the person blocking traffic today?
Yeah.
Doing
I didn't want to make a big deal about it, but now that I think about it, that would have been a good weird thing story.
All right. We're gonna find. I've got two objects in pools. One in a pool in LA. One in a pool in LA. One in a pool in Michigan. What? Take guesses. What was found in the LA resident's pool, and what was found in the Michigan resident's backyard pond?
In LA, it was Harvey Weinstein, and then I'm gonna go. What's a more desert creature? Shoot, I don't know. I don't think I have. I mean, I guess the safe bet is snakes, but it sounds like we're getting into more exotic territory. I'll say snakes in L.A. and the other one it was in Michigan.
Yep.
That's a bear. No, but that's yeah. I'll stick with bear.
I'm going jackals.
In both of them, the
Yep.
band. The band was
Answer
split up.
is in LA, it was a bear, a black bear, decided to beat the heat in the affluent neighborhood when Granada Hills. I have a friend who lives in Granada Hills.
He just wants to cool
what's his
off.
house? I think so. They just said, hey, look, there's a bear in our backyard in LA.
It
All right,
looked like he
cool.
had an ear tag on him, so I guess it was a known local that they were
He
keeping
was-
track of.
Apparently, he's
Wow.
from the Angeles National Desert. So, okay, Michigan, mystery alligator. It's a tiny little baby alligator.
What? Man, how did an alligator get up into Michigan?
I mean, probably somebody had a pet.
Yeah. I mean, they wouldn't naturally migrate that far north, right?
No, I mean, no, not like this. No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but that's
somebody's
a-
pet.
All right, our last one here, folks. Last one here. A wall of what was outside of a window in a Houston high-rise?
Houston high rise. That's got to be spiders. Just
Gotta
covering
be.
it. Just
Gotta be spiders.
cover. Oh, no, wait. Oh, I think I know this. Bats. They're bats. They're
A
bats.
wall of bats?
Yeah. I think it's a bunch of bats.
I'm gonna stick with spiders.
Spiders versus bats. Dun, dun, dun. And the answer is wall of sweet-looking bats.
Yeah.
Oh,
I did.
there's so many of them.
I saw this. I saw this in the wild. I didn't know it was in Houston, but the person who posted was pretty chill. Like, yeah, once a year, a bunch of bats hang out. They're pretty cool, and then they just gather and gawk at them.
Rabies, no rabies, whatever.
Yeah, I mean they're on the other side of the window. That makes it better.
It is kind of amazing how much we would find normal until you take a video of it and put it up on Facebook, and now it's like international news,
Yeah.
right? Like there's stuff where, like, and Andrew was joking about like how an alligator blocking a bridge in Florida is not that big of a deal, but I mean I remember just even driving back from getting lunch with Andrew and just seeing just gigantic lizards crossing the street that it's like, yeah, you never really thought of. It's like, yeah, whatever. We live next to the Everglades. Gigantic things sometimes crawl out of the Everglades and start running around. But if you take a video of it, it's like, certainly guaranteed for some good social media traction. And if it's a slow enough news day, then somebody's going to, pick it up and plug it into their schedule so they don't have to actually report the news.
Remember when I took you to Spider Forest?
Oh, God, yeah. No, that was terrifying. There were, that's a lot of spiders out there.
I was, I like in my wandering explorations of some of the parks and forests and stuff and waterlands and stuff around Florida, because you have a lot of these little little areas of such and such preserve or this, and I would just go, I want to wander around there, see what I see, because a lot of them just people never go there. And I went to one, and I go down a path, turn another path, and all of a sudden I'm in Middle Earth, and every sort of branch is covered with cobwebs, and it's terrifying. I'm like, oh, I know who loves spiders. And I'm like, Justin, hey, after lunch one day, I'm like, I got to show you something, and he's used to this as we walk into the middle of the woods. It's just like, whatever.
Oh, you kept it from him, the intended subject of your journey?
Well, yeah, I know him. Like, if he's like, oh, come to this secluded woodland area. Like, number one, it shows you how far our relationship has come that I'm like, he's going to show me a weird animal or something like that instead of I'm going to get murdered. But, yeah, no, it was definitely like, all right, it's going to be it wouldn't be a monkey because he probably would have reported a monkey running around, but it's going to be some kind of lizard or some kind of snake or some kind of spider. And as it turned out, it was a forest full of gigantic spiders.
You're lucky, man. I wish I had a friend like me. Speaking of friends, we could all use friends. We could use patrons.
Absolutely. Patreon.com/weirdthings is where you need to go ahead and support this very, very show. If you become a patron, not only do you have the self-satisfaction of supporting the best science podcast on the internet, but also you get access to our After Things show, which happens after Weird Things before anybody else. That's because you get your private audio RSS link and get it right there, right off the page. As soon as you sign up at any pledge and you pop it into any podcast app that you have. It's a great time. It's a great thing. Please, friends, what do you say? You support our show. Patreon.com/weirdthings.
Yeah, we like your support. I don't know how to broach this. I think one of the four of us here, Bryce, you're included, of course.
Okay.
I think made a horrible decision. A horrible financial decision.
Well, I don't know. Did one of the four of us just recently close on a giant piece of West Austin property that may or may not be haunted?
Yeah, I think that I'm just saying that, Brian, I think you could have bought yourself a ghost town instead. Apparently there's a few for sale.
What? Oh, I missed the chance to buy a ghost town.
I'm just saying, I think, yes, your compound sounds great. Good luck on the start of your cult. But what if you had actually had an Old West ghost town instead?
Is that, how does one find and go about buying a ghost town? Because I'm seeing Bryce's reactions, and it looks as though we missed a real opportunity on this one.
Yeah, California ghost town sells for $1.4 million.
Oh, wow.
Look at this.
Oh my God!
It's right out of Journey Quest, man.
It has 22 structures on the land, 300 acres.
Wow! How far away from anything? And it's got all the stuff in there too.
Yeah.
And the ghost, Brian. Yeah, we're looking at looks like an old country store or something with chairs and bottles, lots of bottles, and then an aluminum siding church,
a bar.
What? There's a little saloon.
That is a steal of a deal. Outside of, I just assume it has to be forever from anything, right?
Well, let's take a look. It's in Owens Valley.
It's Cerro Gordo is the name of the town.
So
Gordo?
You are
Oh,
basically
my God.
about probably the closest major town is either Fresno or Bakersfield.
Wow, that's a
way out there.
that's a big span.
That's location, location, man. Now I understand. Because for that much space and existing structures and everything, that's pretty great. I would love to know the backstory of how that place came to be abandoned and the town died out.
Yeah,
So by the way, if I were to get there, if I were to drive, let's say, Brian, you want to know what? Due to a loophole, you're like, quick, Yui. Enough of this compound thing. It was a cool idea, but now that I know that there's an abandoned California mine, you're telling the kids, hey, you want to know what? Great news, girls. You're all going to the same school next week, and it's because we're homeschooling you at the new Cerro Gordo Elementary through High School facility. And if I were to come visit you, it is the fastest route, a 7-hour and 9-minute trek.
You have to go
through Bakersfield. There's also another one through Modesto that takes you through the Sierra National Parks.
Modesto, birthplace of George Lucas.
You have to go around both the Sierra National Forest and the Sequoia National Forest just to get to this mine.
Oh.
So
it was a mine, and then I guess the mine got tapped out, and then everybody. That's usually what happens with ghost towns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If Andrew wanted to visit, it's only a 3.5-hour drive. Or, sorry, 4-hour drive.
With traffic.
I mean, this is like right in Death Valley, too. Go look at the satellite terrain. That's like the best view of it. It's just so you see what you're looking at here.
Oh, yeah. No, you can see there's lots of trees, hours to the left, hours to the right. And, oh, man, is that all mined out territory? That looks to the west of it there. If you scoot on down, it looks like they've, you could see, I guess it was all strip mined out or something.
Oh, it looks like floodplain. That's floodplain.
Oh, got it.
See the
agriculture. I will say this for Cerro Gordo, the abandoned ghost town that Brian is maybe as the booming success of the Austin compound, you'll be looking to expand to the next one, and so Cerro Gordo can be on your radar. 79 degrees right now in Cerro Gordo. That is the high for today, with a low of 56 degrees.
That's nice. It's July.
That does. Yeah, man. It's definitely been a full week of 105 every single day, man.
Huh. And I like it's close to Conglomerate Mesa.
So Brian,
listen, I think if we wanted to do Westworld,
hey, look, a cult is cool, but what if I had my own company store?
Yeah, being a town boss, a little bit cooler.
Exactly. It's like, look,
oh my God, the scam school company town.
Effectively, if you're a cult, you're just really a glorified tour director, right? Like you have to be planning activities and keeping everybody happy and balancing all these things. You really need to mobilize that workforce and make sure that everybody's living and working according to their means and spending all of their wages at your company store.
It's pretty good. And I finally, Brian Bucks will be a real thing. It'll be a real currency.
I like that point. Like, yeah, if you're running a cult, you're basically like a tour guide or an activities director. Because that's a thing. It's like you get woken up in the morning. Hey, leader, what are we doing today? Like.
You're like, today it's like having a bunch of toddlers that are constantly wanting story time. You're just like, today is the great ascensioning.
Wait, save it because it actually touches on journey, mission, adventure.
That's
quest.
true. That's true.
I just realized that.
I will say that is a good point.
Gentlemen, I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you like fireworks?
Love them. I just bought some. I bought some while the buy-in was good before July 4th happened because it occurred to me that at some point I might want to be able to stay far away from something yet ignite it. So I've got all the Roman candles they had. So I just have a whole bunch of Roman candles ready to go.
Brian, I want to see time travel or reality so I can take 10-year-old Brian into the future and meet modern day Brian.
Yeah.
What'd you do today? What did I do today? I just bought all the Roman candles I wanted. Awesome!
Yeah. You know what I'm having for dinner? Lucky Charms. Ah!
Don't lie to your young self like that. You know you're having chicken soup.
Yeah.
But
It's
he
true.
would eat the Lucky Charms to impress his young self, though, Bryce. That's the thing.
Sure.
Gentlemen, I think fireworks are cool, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But, you know, here's the thing. You go to see a fireworks show. If you're not, like, right under it, and you're like, oh, we're going to go watch the fireworks. And you're watching it there, and you're like, oh, it's way out in the horizon. You're watching the show. You're like, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. You know, I have this thing, like, I don't go to a fireworks show if holding up my iPad covers up more space than the fireworks show would be.
That's I think it was Einstein who had the exact same philosophy. He that was a less popular theorem of his.
Yeah, I didn't catch on because you're like, what's an iPad? He's like, wait for it. But like, you go to Disney World, you go to the right parts, and you're underneath the fire. It's amazing. You know, it's great, like underneath it. But fireworks, they could be bigger. I'm saying they could be bigger.
I mean, bigger or closer. I guess you're saying. I mean, there's two ways to make them bigger. One is to make them bigger, and the other one is to have them be closer. But it sounds like you're setting up a story about bigger fireworks.
I'm saying like a much bigger show, like something like really, really cool. Okay.
Is it a whole show or is it like a single? Oh, like watching a building get demolished. We're talking about that kind of bigger. I always wanted to see one of those.
Say what?
Yeah, you know when they implode a building.
When they collapse, it used to be the thing in Vegas. I
Yeah.
felt like
Yeah.
it was kind of more often, like 5 years ago. Every year or so, some old casino would get demolished.
Yeah. Well, okay. All right. I like your thoughts, and these are very interesting. I have something bigger and better in mind here.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Japanese company has suggested this. They want to do this. And it's totally not controversial. Everybody thinks it's an awesome idea, except for the people that don't think it's an awesome idea.
All right, now I'm trying to imagine. I would imagine that it's just an explosion so big that there are people worried about it disrupting wildlife or causing problems for some poor bear getting afraid of this giant explosion.
Okay, so this is the thought. This is a suggestion. Japanese company, Astro Live Experiences, has said, you know what he'd like to do? Create an on-demand meteor shower.
Oh, that's brilliant! That's brilliant. So you set up a satellite and it's got little pockets, and then it just aims them at your party, and then it's like, do how magical! I love this
Basically,
idea.
yep. That's it. The idea is they want to put up a small little satellite loaded with a payload of like some little tiny little meteoroids, whatever, and they want to be able to say, all right, release them, and then release them. You call on demand, like, hey, everybody, look up, meteor shower. Look what I did.
I think that's great. Who would have a problem with that? Because it's not like the particles are going to be big enough to actually ever hit the ground. I mean, you could decide that, right? You can make them such that they can't not
and
burn
you
up.
could probably make them as like fireworks themselves, as visible as possible, right? You can pack whatever thing that is burning up to burn up brighter than random space stuff.
Yeah, you can make sure that you're throwing down giant chunks of tungsten that are glowing real pretty as they come down.
So the concern is that it's a space hazard. And there's click the link on their Bryce to CNN where they've got some more graphics and stuff on it. The concern is these things would be like 310 miles up. They'd just be, orbiting each satellite orbit for a couple years over sort of patterns of where they're major cities. And so when somebody says, yeah, we want a shower, like, okay, somebody presses a button on an app and then it releases and it takes time to orbit and, deorbit, whatever. So the concern is like, okay, so you got something 310 miles up and then it's dropping, payloads into Earth orbit to then burn up. That the idea is, could it interfere with other things?
I guess what matters is what orbit it is, because if it has a shelf life, you could have it in a lower orbit, and you could probably pack fuel to keep it in that lower orbit, it's got to be low enough that if it exploded outward, everything would just immediately fall down to Earth. Because you're right. Otherwise, we get that gravity scenario where there's this giant, trash cascade that breaks up all of our communication satellites.
Yeah, so they're talking about 310 miles up, and which is low Earth orbit, which you've got a lot of stuff in there. You've got the International Space Station right now, which is 254 miles up.
Oh, jeez.
You get, I think that you're talking about where I think some people trying to build LEO constellations there. Now, understand, like orbital paths are big, wide periods of space that you have a pretty good idea if you know where something is that's clearly away from everything else. So, I guess the concern is just that, like, well, what if it's, when it releases the payload or whatever, it does it at the wrong point or something, because I think that could be kind of, the problem.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be one of those that everyone will err on the side of caution before we do something like this for entertainment. I would assume that there had to be something else that was done where we were regularly shooting things down from low Earth orbit that had a more altruistic purpose before we get to rich guy wants to impress his friends, and so he buys a $3,000. I mean, gee, it'd probably be more. What do you think that would cost?
Probably, I would imagine $50,000, and even then, I can imagine types of parties where that would be worth it. If you're doing a bunch of rich people there's some party where they show up on a hilltop and everything's super catered or whatever.
I
or
think
a big
it's going to probably
concert,
cost a lot more than that, but I think that we'll see. I mean, eventually, it will be, because it's just you're only going to have X number of payloads and the cost to launch and all that. So I think it's going to probably be very, very, very expensive.
So what do you think? 100, 500,000, million?
100,000.
Yeah, I'm hundreds of thousands usually.
Man. Yeah, I guess, the right Super Bowl.
But at the same time, there are people that would peel that off if it looked good.
Oh yeah, I mean it's the first person that gets to do it. It's the PR thing, and also it's like there is when you start thinking about take the world of entertainment. Okay, I know people who there are famous entertainers go do shows in places like Dubai and all that all the time. They're not announced. They're private parties, some hotel, whatever. They just paid, Beyonce, $10 million to show up and sing 3 songs for some guy's birthday. That stuff happens a lot. You get the way a lot of the wealth is spent in certain places. And I would say that in the U.S., it's kind of crazy, but you go into other parts of the world, it's absolutely insane when you hear about how some of these things are spent. Because there's less criticism among peers for really ostentatious sorts of ways of doing this kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So I could see between, Dubai, China, and elsewhere as far as are there people willing to pay. Yeah, I dropped fireworks. I did a meteor shower for $1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. Or you have something like, one of their graphic examples was at a concert, if Coachella, for U2 headlining at the end of the night, a gigantic meteor shower happens. That's one of the most iconic moments in music history.
Right.
Buy that mind share.
Especially if you think of it like roughly cost equivalent to a Super Bowl ad. Think of all the businesses that, spend the money on a Super Bowl ad, but this would make perfect sense.
So,
right?
BuzzFeed News got a
proves the Doritos halftime show includes a meteor shower.
BuzzFeed News got a quote from Josh Rodenbaugh, a member of Ailey's satellite operations team. He says, "quote he declined to cite a specific cost, except to say that it would be less than the massive fireworks displays that major cities use to celebrate holidays. For example, Tokyo's fireworks display runs around $40,000 a firework, according to Rodenbaugh. We feel we can be under that number. New York's
This is the guy from the same company.
Mm-hmm. New York's 4th of July festivities run around $6 million." So that's a very rough ballpark.
Wow. So then, maybe even a little bit more than that's such a bummer, because I love this as an artistic idea, but I do have to acknowledge that there's a lot of really important stuff in that orbit, and I would prefer they all continue to work. it's interesting to think of property rights and real estate in low Earth orbit.
But we're just getting into that, though. And we are going to face more of these questions than I think we're even comfortable talking about as we go along. And it's cheaper and cheaper and cheaper to put stuff into orbit. Like that all these questions are going to need to be asked and answered at a fairly fast pace.
Also, there are disturbing implications about, granted this is for the use of a party, but I would also imagine that there are tactical, possibly military applications to a satellite that can point at a thing and throw things at that place. That seems like there's a number of problems that would come along with that.
It does. It is not crazy that a Bond movie opens with the city of New York making the deal with the space company that does the Meteor thing. Like, this will be the most historic 4th of July ever. Yes, indeed it will. We're pleasure to do business. And then walks out and the Meteor salesman talks to the evil henchman on his watch like everything's in place.
I mean, I feel like the scene would go like they do the deal and then they're at the party and, you know, they see and here they come, the shooting stars. And everyone's like, oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. And then they get closer and closer and then it turns into the beginning of Armageddon as they're just raining and destroying things all around. And he's like, that's right. I now am holding the world hostage. I could destroy literally any town from space. What were you thinking, fools?
And to celebrate it, here's my meteor shower. Ha ha! I can do both. You a dictator who can do both.
You know, we're gonna get into, as we put more stuff into space. Newsflash, by the way, Jeff Bezos, richest man in the world, even more richer, and wants to spend his fortune on conquering space. Let that settle in for a moment. You know, Bill Gates did a pretty good job of helping fight malaria and AIDS. And now, you know, Jeff Bezos wants to tackle something maybe technically not as complicated as that. But in the world where space is being used a lot more for all sorts of, you know, services and functions, this becomes scary. But on the other side of it, our satellite got damaged by the dumb meteor shower. Wah, wah. All right. Pull up my SpaceX app, order a new one. Can't go up till tomorrow. You know, I mean, that's the other part of it is like, we're so afraid of losing assets in space because it's so costly to do this and it takes forever to do it. But in a world where you can get something launched in 24 hours, it's not.
Also, I wonder what that liability insurance is. Like, if you get knocked out of the air by the meteor fireworks, it's like, do the meteor fireworks company, do they have to like pay for your satellite, or do they owe you anything? Can you sue? I mean, these are all questions that we would ask.
Yeah, from one country to another country, right? Yeah, everyone's registered in Panama or whatever.
Who can I sue? Who can I sue? I don't know. It's questions we'll have to find out on space things. What time is it?
Oh, I think it's time.
Oh, is it mission journey
adventure quest?
Last
time for
on
mission quest.
Mission quest!
You are going to need more people in your team, particularly if you plan on taking over Death Hammer and using that to strike the Black Comet.
Is this a literal hobo with you guys?
Yes.
I can't wait because I'm a little bit aimless with what I want to do next in my life.
For everybody, sell all your earthly possessions, convert it into currency, and PayPal it over to us immediately. It will really help us.
To Austin!
Last time on Mission Quest, Brian and Justin had decided that the threat of what may be the Black Comet or Troll, you know, there's been a lot of conflicting information out there about what this threat could be, but they've decided that there's a conspiracy afoot, and the only way for them to fight this is to start their own para-governmental military intelligence gathering organization, a.k.a. a cult, on a compound in Texas. And we asked you the listeners out there, how many of you were willing to answer the call to show up for this mysterious purpose? Bryce, do we know how many showed up?
We got 37. people to show up.
All right.
A couple dogs, couple babies in there, but 37.
Fine. It's fine. It's a breeding population.
You need a wide range of species.
So, do we want to experience the journey over there, or do we want to have time pass forward and have us?
You
arrive
guys are
safely?
there. You're already at the compound, and you know any moment now you're going to get your first visitors showing up.
Okay, look, Justin, we have to. Yes, we're going to do some bad things in the service of a good thing, right?
All right. Before we start, and yes, a lot of very, very thick moral quandaries here that we need to wade through. But I'm just saying, Koresh Cult had like 150. We got like 40 on day one.
Oh,
I feel like we're doing pretty good.
Are you kidding me? No. Yeah, this is a fine starting point, right? This is the nucleus that's going to form
like, as soon as everybody starts tagging on Instagram how cool it is to be in this cult, like, we're gonna be swatting. We're gonna be keeping them away. We're gonna have to build a wall.
Yes, we're going to be the Cultivated Urban Law-Abiding Task Force, CULT.
All right, so here we go, Brian. There's a conspiracy afoot, and we're gonna counteract it with yet another conspiracy. We have a cult. We're gonna wield our influence.
Okay.
Way I see it, there's two tips to this trident with one end knocked off.
All right, go.
One. We need
A
to
bident?
create.
Is that a bident?
I think is describing a fork.
It's just
Quite literally a fork.
Poker.
No. It's like the things that you'd use to turn steaks.
Yeah, or
lobster, like to eat crab meat with.
or
like a crab-
roast weenies over the
There's
campfire.
2 points to this weenie roaster. Number 1, point the first. We need to have a strong, enlightened, media forward home front.
Yep.
And number 2, one of us needs to go out there into the world using all of our possible connections and start to secure funding and influence throughout the world. We need friends in high places.
Okay, but here's the question: do we? The other thing is, of course, we have to have an apocalyptic vision of what's to come. But before that, I feel like step one, we got to make some miracles. We have to put on. They're going to be showing up here any minute, and we got to put on a demonstration that we have awesome supernatural gifts and that they're right to join us. And then once we have them fooled with that, then we'll be able to reveal the apocalyptic vision of doom that we have to do battle against, right? So
Hey guys, pardon me here. Werner Amway Hubbard here. I'm your cult consultant you hired to come in and give you some advice on this.
Yes.
Thank God you got here.
I'm ready to bounce some ideas off you. Now you need to consider, if you're going to be a miracle-based cult, you're going to attract a certain kind of clientele, and you're going to have to maintain them at a certain amount of, we use the term internally, stupidity, but we prefer to use the term externally, perpetual sense of wonder. Now, the problem is that's a really high threshold. If you're going to try to use a miracle to persuade them, it is going to sort of eliminate a large group.
And listen, there's no bad ideas here, but also maybe if one of us, and I'm not going to point fingers, hadn't spent the last 10 years explaining how magic tricks work, maybe we'd be able to have a little bit more leeway.
Yeah, I did. I guess I painted myself into a corner on this one. Damn. You're right.
Yeah, I was going to say, I looked at the demographics. I did a spreadsheet on this. We look for points of vulnerability, insecurities, daddy issues, who were fat kids, whatever, to figure out the right way to sort of play upon their sensibilities. So I noticed there's a very high correlation between the people who said yes and subscribers to Scam School.
Ah, damn. Okay. Well, what is maybe self-betterment? Maybe something we could take a page from Scientology or something, right?
There we go. This is what I think we need better living.
Oh, do you want to unlock every core of your brain? Do you know that you only use 3% of your brain? We'll let you use the other 150%. What? There's more than 100% of your brain? You didn't think about it until right now, did you?
Guys, these are great. You're on the right path. Now, I'm going to tell you something here. I've already got your manual written because it's the same manual that, written 100 years ago. We just do a find replace, basically, for willpower, things like that. We can, take that away when you want to imply that you guys need to have strong leadership over them. The really, really important part, the thing that's going to make all the difference, is going to be names and symbols.
All right. Well, man, Justin, I feel like this is the hard part of building a cult, and we're being forced to. We don't have a lot of time to come up with this.
Hey, hold on, Brian. Wait, you're gonna stumble on the branding question? Look at the shirt you're wearing. Look at what you've already built. You build brands going to sleep. You wake up,
guys.
you got 3 brands in your bed. You kick them out. You throw them away because I got no use for these brands.
Werner Amway Hubbard here. And just so you know, I've got on my iPad here a real-time chat stream with fans of yours, and they will give us feedback.
Okay. All right. Listen.
But they have to use emojis to tell us what they think of your names and your suggestions.
What about the Defenders of the Earth? Right. They're enlightening everyone.
All right.
DOE, dough.
Yeah. You could say that cult dough, and then that's sticky. That's sticky.
All right. I'm a member of dough. How does that sound?
Let me pitch something to you. All right. Because I think this is kind of a two-phase thing.
Defenders of Planet Earth.
Dope.
I'm a dope.
Hold on, you might be selling me on this. That's pretty good. Sorry, you had a two-phase plan, Justin?
I did until I only needed one phase, and it's called dope.
This cult is dope.
No, I think dope is the way to go. Here's the deal. Because people are going to come in trying to just live a better life. And, look, we're going to have a little song, little dance, little seltzer down your pants about exactly what you need to do for it.
Wait, seltzer down the pants. Is that going to be an actual ritual? Rituals are very good, and we're going to talk about that next on my checkpoint list.
You want to know what? But here's what we do. Really, all we do is encourage sound financial planning, drinking a little bit more water, and exercising. Next thing you know, everyone's going to be in a much better mood. We're going to have actual results. Everyone's going to be Instagramming how amazing it is. And
by the way, are we confiscating phones or not?
Man, we got to get the word out, though. We have to be media savvy.
Okay, no. We allow them until we don't. But we definitely initially we encourage everybody. There's nothing to hide when you're a dope. You're living your best life. Now, at a certain point, here's where that second phase comes in. That's when we're like, hey, look, there's a reason why we've encouraged the world to be living that dope life.
Yeah.
And it's because we are, you can't just ring that alarm. You need an army first. We've made the army, and now we reveal why this has all been ongoing, and it's because
secrets. Are you going to allude that you have secrets? There's an inner secret purpose to it.
I mean, yeah, and we're going to reveal the secret. Look. There's a lot of secrets. Some of them we could give away for free, right? At our betterment seminars. Why don't you live a doper life by joining us at our we don't want to call them recruitment seminars.
Brian, come on down to the dope house.
There we go. Hey, man, dope fever is sweeping America. It's more legal than ever, and we're here to make you live your dopest life.
Yep.
Okay, so question. Can we go to getting actual celebrities to endorse our stuff is very expensive, but what say we don't say they're the celebrities, but we go to the party planners here in Austin, and we just get all of their best celebrity lookalikes, and we could say, join our all-star cast as you live your
Johnny Depp telling you he loves dope.
Yeah, and then they say live a dope life. Woo! That's in fact that's our benediction. That's our and woo! live a
Man,
dope
people
life.
really believe these celebrities are into dope.
I mean, you may have
There's
heard.
celebrities, Werner, Amway, Hubbard. They're into everything.
So, and maybe we pivot on that message. We're like, hey, man, you may have heard that these celebrities are into dope. Well, they are, but it's not what you think. It's we get a Snoop Dogg lookalike. We get Jimmy Kimmel. We get
Brian. I think. Look, we started off with that, but I think we just need one South by and run a little party bus back between down 6th Street and the compound, and we've got the dope celebrity recruitment center.
That's right. And all of the acolytes walk up and down the street with giant signs saying, "Follow me for free dope." And then they get in and they come out, and then we I don't know.
I did a little market testing. I found out you've got to be careful with that because you might find the people to respond to that may not be your ideal cult members.
Oh, that's right. Because we're looking for geniuses to solve. That's a good point, Werner. We got to keep our eye on the prize.
You know, and what if you called your plan? You want things like the program, the system, or whatever. You could call it like the method.
All right. I like that.
And you can start with levels. You can have 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can start with 1.
Live your dopest life with the dope method, and we always have dope.
Well, start with 1. Gotta go with 1.
There are periods, DOPE, and then it's like all will be revealed when you reach level 7, and then we say, okay, no, for reals. I'm glad you're in the DOPE because this defenders of planet Earth, and we got a comet to stop.
Wait a minute. What if you don't know that you're a dope until you get to level 4?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
What if you
go reverse? What if it's like your goal is to go from everybody starts at 10, you go to 9, and you want to go down to 1?
I'm just saying, you just come in and you're like, hey, who wants the D? Come on down. You get the D, and that's the entry, right?
But I think pitch I want to reach method 1. I want method 1.
Get that D. You wanted the
or
D.
Just spell
you
it.
get the D.
Then you get the O. Yeah. So you start off with the D. That's our primal urges. That's we all want the D on the inside, right? Well, get in here. We're gonna teach you how to reach forward and grab the D and give it to you, right? And then it's like they get to
flex that big D energy.
That's right. And then you want the O, because what's the point of having all this if you don't act on it? D-O. Now it's time to do. You get out there. Yeah, ask for that raise. Get that job.
But if you take this joke any further, method 1, all in one word, I'm telling you, that's going to be the key.
It's we can say you too can achieve method. Does that say methadone? It's like, no, that's method 1. It's method 1.
Method 1. Methadone, method 1.
that is pretty good. Okay, look, I think we got a good structure. What are we gonna do for our big show when our first?
Yeah. Okay. Hey guys, Werner Amway Hubbard here, but pretend that's who I am. I'm not who I am. I'm Joe. I signed up, fan. I walk through the doors of your compound. How are you going to greet me? How are you going to welcome me here and make me feel like I want to be? By the way, if I am a member of Dope, am I a dope? I'm a doper. A dope. What am I? A dopeologist?
A doper.
A dopehead?
Nobody wants to be called a doper, though, do they?
Dopite?
A defender. I mean, it's the first. That's the D.
Yeah, but we can't start. It'll scare them. We can't start them off with the fact that the world's going to end. We have to.
It's the name.
You're just living the dope life.
Yeah, living the dope life. Who's somebody that
a lifer?
A what?
A lifer. You're living the dope life. You're a lifer.
Yeah, that does sound like a prison term.
Well, I mean, wait. A defender of planet Earth recruit.
That's doper. You know what? That's what we do. Is we give them the blessing and we say, guess what? Your life just got a little doper, and then it's like, so it begins. And then we give them a necklace, a talisman. There has to be a ritual that leaves them feeling really, really excited. So they have to go through. They have to get a back rub. And okay, here's what we do. The moment they show up, it's like, man, you just took your first step to a doper life, and I want you to feel what it's like to have all of our energy working together to fill you up. So walk down this path, and all of the acolytes, everybody. At first, it'll be just me and Justin and you, Werner, if you don't mind, and the hobo that we picked up, and then but you make a tunnel. You make a tunnel of people, and so imagine it's 20 people long, right? And then as somebody walks through this 2 rows of people. Everybody is rubbing their backs to release all that oxytocin, but then they also say, they're just saying, you are the greatest person who's ever lived. And then they say, I am so glad that you decided to live a doper life. And then by the time they get over there, they're all like, did you feel that? Do you know what that is? Scientists have a name for what you're experiencing, and it's called dopamine. That's how right and how good it feels to unlock your potential. And now they're swimming in oxytocin and dopamine.
Have a glass of water. Have a glass of water. We're always feeding them water. We just need a lot of waters. Everyone's getting very hydrated.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. That's great. And then they begin classes in enrichment, and but mainly, all of the tests to see if they're doing better are like math and science based, and we're constantly saying like, all right, we're gonna see if you have the skills. Put together a report on interstellar trajectories. Let's see what you do. And then they come back and they're like, that's pretty good. But the dopest person would revise these numbers and get a specific projection of what vectors.
So wait a minute, hold on, real quick. And these are all great ideas. I'm on board with all of them. But I've been doing some kind of side research here.
Yeah.
On other cults, and I've come upon something that I never knew before. Did you know that the Branch Davidians had a flag?
We gotta have a flag. What was on their flag?
Well, tell me what it looks like.
They had a flag that's a snake.
Like a star.
Looks like a sperm. Kind of looks like a sperm with a 6-sided star. Like if you don't look at it really big, it just kind of looks like a weird sperm.
Yeah, that's we can beat that flag. We'll have a better flag.
It's such a happy snake. We got a low bar to clear, but that snake looks so happy.
I guess we could just replace the Star of David with a weed leaf and
like just zoom in on that snake's head, and he's just like, "Hi."
All of a sudden, we're back to you want to be saved.
So. These are all great suggestions. I think, logo is important. Logo is really important. I think that, if you want, you either go with a religious symbol or a scientific symbol. You could take the idea that, like, we're injecting our dope into you. Hint, hint. A syringe, medical. People trust syringes.
That is universal, that people really do trust syringes.
Well, and they all love them, too.
They save lives, guys.
I say our flag is we just rip off the symbol that's on Dr. Manhattan's forehead. It's just a hydrogen atom. And so it's like, this is where it begins. You are where the dopest life begins.
And you're encouraged to be naked when you're holding the flag. In fact, that's like, like you can't like touch the flag on the ground or else you have to burn it. And when you're living your dope life, to touch the flag means to be naked like Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
If you have a, let's say, exaggerated view of, or overly simplistic view of how the body works, and you're a hipster, the dopamine molecule, a lot of people wearing those.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
the dopamine tattoos, you seen those?
No, but I believe it. People wear shirts and get tattoos like caffeine. Everyone's got their favorite chemical. Oh, you know what? That's actually simple enough. That's pretty good.
It looks.
It also looks like a sperm
too.
Yeah.
It's like a sperm with antenna.
Also, it's and our slogan can be ho ho NH2.
Ho ho.
Oh ho, NH2. We'll have to work on that. That's pretty good though. All right, our flag is dopamine. We're gonna live a dope lifestyle. We're gonna bring you to where you're swimming in dopamine because you have so much success. You're smarter, better, faster than everyone else. So we should call up Dr. Paulzak. Maybe we could do this in character. We could actually call up actual Dr. Paulzak.
Here's what I'm saying. So, Brian, one of us needs to stay at the home front, or we need to deputize somebody to kind of run the dope center, right? The dope house. But we need to get out there on the road with our pitch doc. We need to be bringing in influencers, big influencers from around the world.
Yeah.
Hey guys, Werner Amway Hubbard here, and I need to make some suggestions here because it's why you hired me. I mean, granted, I self-appointed myself, but it's technically the same thing. You'll get my bill. Sure. Anyhow, the point is, yes, recruiting is good, but you do need brochures and stuff, and we need to show. Now, in Scientology, they have the Celebrity Center, they have Flag, they have this amazing cruise ship I've heard just only good things about. They've got that. Amway has a convention centers. Tony Robbins has, I think he is president of Fiji, okay? So the point is you want to show this is an amazing place. Michael Jackson had Neverland Ranch, which was not controversial at all. I want you to think about what we can do here. I know there's an old amusement park warehouse here where they have a lot of attractions and stuff that we can buy, we can put here. We need to decorate. We really got to create this place, make it look kind of cool, because right now it just looks like some hastily bought compound by some Texas entrepreneur who's a little bit focused on media and entertainment.
You're right. So it's plus we're gonna need a place for actual bodies to sleep. Wait a minute. Spitballing here. I can make a phone call to one of the equipment rental places for a fair. We could do a big top circus theme. No, you don't like that, Justin?
Good. Let me see if I can plus it. What do you say? We have the dope water park.
The world's dopest water park?
No cult has ever tried a water park.
You're right.
And also, it doesn't have to be political. It's not like everyone's going to be like, oh, yeah, you're going to go there and shove your message. No, it's a water park, bro. Just go down the water slide. Yeah, we have some subtle things here or there, right? And also water. Have you had a water? We're encouraging you to hydrate.
But you're really on the hydration, which I guess makes sense if we're all about the hydrogen.
It's 105 degrees.
Yeah, you know what?
Okay,
you're right.
guys. I've looked at some real estate. If you want to convert this into a water park, we're looking at about $35 million. Down the street, there is a quarry that's kind of half filled with water.
That's close enough. I mean, as long as...
Now, are you planning on housing people on air mattresses floating in the water at night? Is that the plan? Like a big waterbed?
Oh, that's pretty good. We could play Jaws every single night, and they could float on the water, and then they could sleep on a cloud of water.
Call it a water world, if you will.
It's pretty good. Water world. There was in Houston. There was Astro World and there was Water World next to it. Which is why I thought the title of the movie was so silly. But maybe we can find that old sign, buy that old IP, or just start doing Water World.
All right, that's it. Water World. It's in. Lock it in.
Okay, so I'm looking at some examples for this. I'm looking at this. Let me call the people over there in the warehouse district with all the warehouses full of stuff and see if I can find some of the old Water World attractions.
Okay, great.
Hey, Phil, yeah, do you have any old Water World attractions? You do? Great. What were they? Oh, you don't know what they are because you weren't here when they're made. You need somebody who went there as a child to tell you what these attractions were?
Yes. Hey, sorry to jump on. There's a listen. They had the one thing where you go down real fast and you had to cross your arms and your feet. Otherwise, you would go flying off and die.
A slide?
Yeah, that's what they call it. Thank you, Bryce. I'm glad. I'm really glad you're here. You're living your dopest life.
Yeah, what's up, bro?
That's for sure.
Dope, dude. Dope.
And then. I mean, to be honest, I think they were all slides. Now that I think about it. And a lazy river, but mainly slides and a wave pool. What else is there? Yeah, I think that's it.
One of those little kid stations where they just shoot
Oh,
little
yeah,
bits
yeah.
of water.
Yeah, one of those crappy mushrooms that just rains down on you.
Yeah.
Those you know what? Don't even bother with those. Those sucked.
No kids.
Yeah, no kids. No, kids aren't dope. Dope's not for kids. There you go. That's how we phrase it.
The world's only 18 plus water park.
Yeah. Hey, this is good. 18 and over only. Kids
Get wet with dope.
head on down to Waterworld, a completely different intellectual property than the old Waterworld. Or the movie Waterworld.
We still got James Marsden for it, though.
Hey, I just got John Waters on the phone. He says you can actually license his name.
Oh, that's great. That's great. We'll also
Perfect.
tell him we'll put a poster of him up.
No, it's Waters, so you're going to have to make that S really tiny small. So it'll be Waters World.
That works for me.
Hey, John, how much to legally change your name to Water?
Oh,
He says he'll do it.
oh, that's great. Thank goodness. I think he's been meaning to do that for years, but then finally
You
just
got to pay
around
for a Star subscription.
So a Star subscription.
He's an eccentric guy. He's one of the most innovative filmmakers of our time. So, you know.
All right.
Great. So now you're building a theme park. So where you're going to house people?
That's the
On
real
the compound.
Yeah, but we got to build a structure for them to, or at least have a structure. You know what? Here, let's work with what we got. You sleep under the stars. It was good
Hey,
enough.
I just got an update. There is a bus arriving 2 days
okay.
with 37 people.
Yeah, man.
I think the tent might not be a bad idea for the housing.
Yeah. Lots of funnel cakes. The moment you show up, you just smell funnel cakes.
Exactly.
We
And
can
here's
get
a
all this.
glass of water.
So now we just need. So I'll tell you what. I'll make a phone call. I'm gonna make a phone call to one of the local rental places that puts on fairs. I'm gonna tell them.
A Brian special.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna tell them that that they're. I don't know how do we afford to do this because we don't have the money to do it. We got to tell them that the money's coming. What can I tell these guys that we're putting on that'll get them to show up and set everything up, but won't have them asking for a deposit?
Like, hey, I'm not going to pay a deposit.
Yeah, but I'll pay double your normal fee upon completion. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, all right. So I'm going to call those guys. I'm going to book basically a circus for when they get here.
All right, circuit set up. And you settled on a symbol?
Yes, it's the dopamine molecule. Only all the O's are smiley faces.
Okay, cool. Guys, I think you're on a great track. You're much more organized than most of the other cult leaders that I've worked with. One more question is, how do you plan on having everybody kill themselves? And are you guys going to do it, or will it be murder-suicide? Oh, sorry, you didn't check that on the box. Never mind.
Okay. I was like, we're on the same page here. We're going to be one of those
doomsday cult, and that's usually what I assume.
You know what? I can see why you would make that mistake. Yes, we are a doomsday cult. We're not going to lead with the doomsday part, but
Well, we're trying to avoid the doomsday, so hopefully everybody lives forever.
yeah, we're an anti-doomsday cult, but we do have a very pressing need to take certain action once everybody's in. So
Anti-doomsday cult, an ADD cult. I like the sound of that.
So I guess our job is when this bus gets here in 2 days, we're gonna have to just we'll know if we're successful if all 37 of them say this is great. I do want to stay here forever and give all my money.
Ooh, oh, problem.
Yeah.
Whew. When you talk to the people who are organizing the welcoming party, did you make sure they're going to be gluten-free options?
Yeah, no, but we sure will. Water's gluten free. That's why we made it a whole water park. Yeah.
Okay.
Would you like a water?
Yeah, no allergens. There's no soy in water.
Yeah.
There's no
Guys, great start. You got this established. Now all we need to figure out is what's the entertainment going to be.
Wait. Before that. Add to the list. Werner, jot this down. Massive quantities of oxytocin. We add to all of the water throughout the park. So you're swimming and you just, no matter how smart you are, you just feel this brotherhood and kinship.
We can do that. It will break down within seconds once it's airborne or immersed in water. But we don't have to tell people that. We can just tell them there's oxytocin out there and it'll make them feel good.
Placebo effect works. Placebo effect. Yeah, that works. Okay, entertainment.
You got to think this is, some of my other clients, like award shows are very big. I would say that's a little premature right now. So you have award shows, but that's huge. As you give achievements, you give meaningless certificates and achievements to people, increases their sense of self-esteem. You got to be careful about doing that right off the bat. You actually want to give them out a little more sparingly, a little initially after they do the first stupid task. You give them when they feel good. Then you have them watch other people get them, and then you make that desire. I want to be on stage shaking hands with or doing whatever, having seltzer sprayed in my pants and grin. Great note, Justin. Okay, I want to have that happen. I want to be up there getting my pants wet by these guys.
You know what?
But you do need like a welcoming introduction and indoctrination sort of ceremony.
I was gonna say, what if we use this idea of awards, but we gave the dope awards to a bunch of celebrities, because we can't afford to pay the celebrities for the entertainment. But if we give them an award, they have to show up to accept it, and then if they're there, it's like Pitbull. You really ought to sing a song too, and
we put one or two of our new recruits up on stage with them, so it's like. The class of 2018 for the Dope Awards, Pitbull, trying to think of somebody else from Night Court. Somebody from Night Court.
Dan Larroquette.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
Marky
John
Post.
Larroquette.
Harry Anderson.
Kelsey
That would be a really
Grammer.
hard get now. Sad.
Yeah, it would be a hard get.
And then, who's ever the third person off the bus. We just write down their name. They're up there too.
Yeah.
Okay. Just a note. I would suggest not doing the awards night on the first day, because then you devalue. It's like getting praise from a parent.
Oh, no.
These
They
people
don't. They
didn't
get no praise. All the people showing up, they're in the audience. They're invited to the gala. So they just
understood. They're watching other people get praise, but you've got to demonstrate a value for that praise, which I would say, again, just to note, I've only helped start many billion-dollar cults and been influential in that. And I can't tell you how many doomsday cults I've had, helped reach successful exits. The body count's incredible. What I would suggest is, well, that's what you do an exit in a doomsday cult. Brian, how would you measure that? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. My point is, I would say some sort of indoctrination, make them a part of it. It's like when you go to the military, when you sign up to be an army guy, you shave your head, you're given a uniform, you're given a rifle. Guns are really good. People like guns. You're given things. Your outside identity is erased, and you're given a new identity within the organization.
We could. I don't
but
know.
No, go to the award show. It's fine. What do I know?
I mean, we.
You see if they'll drink your poison Kool-Aid. Okay, it's fine.
Jesus, don't get hot.
Yeah, man, you're being very undope right now. That's not the dope lifestyle.
I'm sorry.
You get to a centered place
and
when you're
very excited to start these courses, by the way, too. I know actually I ghost wrote them for them, but you got to understand, I'm not just a consultant, I'm a believer. I'm your number one believer.
See, this guy gets it. So I guess Scientology, they got the whole personality test thing. Karaoke. We're gonna do karaoke. That's what it is. That's cheap. Everyone feels like a star, and then they sing a song. Everybody goes nuts, and it's like
little note.
Yeah,
little note.
Yeah.
I think, Brian, your suggestion's wonderful. It's very humanist. It's very this. Think of when you walk into a big cathedral.
Yeah. Okay. They're not playing karaoke. That's what's wrong with them. They're not living the dope.
Yeah, think of when you go into a very, very special place. This is what this needs to be, okay? And think about whose face do you see on the monitor at a concert?
Well, the stars. You see,
Okay. Who is this about? Who is this really about?
I guess it's about me and Justin. I guess we should do. Do we do Night Attack Live and try to wow everyone?
We
with
want to
those-
keep them here, Brian.
Yeah, I know.
So
That's
what I would
what I'm
suggest
thinking.
is, I think I've got some prop guys. We could build like a whole like welcoming arena ceremony, a hall. I like the idea of people walking in, funneling in. That's great.
Yeah.
Statues,
Yeah, I mean, if we,
amphitheaters, a live show, Morgan Freeman show, the road. Imagine a video plays and we see this big IMAX screen. We see a highway, the journey they took to reach to you. And Morgan Freeman says,
all right.
"You came a long way."
Again, Morgan Freeman impersonator is what we can afford. You know what? Tony Robbins ends those things with a fire walk, and he's like, "Hey man, you walk across fire, you could do anything. You can make sales calls, and you get that euphoric endorphin rush. I could teach everybody to eat fire, and then also if anything
those are
gets
great
out of
classes.
control."
I'm sorry to interrupt. I want you to think hard about the welcoming movie, the movie that people are going to be greeted with before the show starts, and we'll find out what that is next week.
Okay, you got it. I'm on it, boss. Thank you, Werner.
Mission Quest.
Next time on Mission Quest, we'll find out. Justin, you got to rock out of here, right?
Yeah. I'm coming up on a hard out, but you guys want to do picks?
I got
Yeah.
a text from Bryce here.
Hit the picks.
Well, that's why. Okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Wait, did I just pull back the curtain here? Whoopsie.
What's your pick, Justin?
My pick, I watched it last night, is the rebooted Netflix Queer Eye. It's an interesting concept. Obviously, Queer Eye for the Straight Guy was a very iconic show for its era, but two things that were very interesting about this version of it as I watched the pilot last night. Number one, I don't consume a tremendous amount of reality television, but every once in a while when I watch something, I kind of realize how much the form of it has kind of changed. Queer Eye, I think, is sort of beat for beat exactly what the old version was, but it's very interesting to see how they've had what dials they've turned down and which ones they've kind of left exactly as they were. Where, like, I think the original one, the understanding of gay culture was just at a different place fundamentally in terms of mainstream understanding. Now it is a lot further along, but I think that the show has done a very good job, at least in the pilot, of balancing that out, of making this about fun and self-improvement and acceptance, while not making it quite the caricature. But also, it's still kind of a caricature. It's just a fun balancing act, but I enjoyed the pilot.
Yeah, it's good. How far did you get? Just the one episode?
Yeah, we just watched the first episode, and that was it. So it was just the dude in I guess they're based out of Atlanta, which is smart and interesting for a bunch of different reasons. But it's just the one dude, schlubby, a bearded dude who lives in his apartment, and his favorite thing to do is to smoke cigarettes and watch TV through his screen door. And then by the end of it, I'll tell you what, it's funny, and this is one of those 90s kind of things where, like, even in like extreme home makeover or like those HGTV shows where you're getting a bunch of new stuff, there's usually like some acknowledgement of a time lapse, that it's like, okay, well, we worked for X amount of time, or that's part of the drama, is like, we put in this effort. The Queer Eye retains that like 90s escapism of like, all right, well, we're going to distract them. Like, they're not even like, oh, he's going to live in a hotel for the night. It's like, uh-oh, we're going to cut his hair. And then they come back and the entire apartment is demoed and like repainted and
Totally
redone
done.
and has like all these new fixtures and everything. And it's like, okay, there's no possible way that anybody could get this done in the 12 hours that you've laid out in TV time. But
Well,
it's great.
And sometimes they'll do like the montage where they go back to the Queer Eye apartment, and they'll have a montage of like, oh, I'm working on recipe ideas. Oh, I'm sketching out the architectural plan. It's moments like that that are like, oh yeah, you still got to let us know that X amount of time is passing. I know.
Yeah.
Good. It's a good,
It's fun though. I can understand why it's gotten the praise that it has gotten. And man, they already are on season 2. They already pumped out season 2 on it. So
yeah, they were saying they shot both of those at the same time, and I think
yeah.
So there, and the season 2 is really good also, just in terms of like constantly delivering emotional stories with characters you like and relate to or get to understand.
It is interesting how like inside the process of how like reality TV gets made, how there are like tropes you sort of mentioned about not unacknowledged time lapse or whatever. And often it's because you get an exec or somebody who's been doing this for 10 years or 15 years. And well, this is the way we do it. I'm like, yeah, but the show works. You can change that. This is why we do it. But do we really know? Do we really know you need to do it like that? Are you sure? Because I think you can break down. I mean, there obviously shows are completely manufactured, but you can break down a lot more walls on a lot of these shows and still have it be pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that this is a show that is in its own way kind of a throwback. Like the Fab Five are as caricatures of gay dudes in fashion as you could possibly. Like it's like falling down and tickling each other on a bed, or like having a pillow fight levels of caricature.
Wait. Who amongst us has not done that?
Not to say that it's not a fun thing to do, which is, I think, part of what you realize is that that's fun.
Justin, that's how I knew how you'd felt about it.
Yeah, I'm just saying it feels like a throwback, and I was not expecting. All I'd heard was like, oh, this is great, and it takes it into this new direction. And I think part of it is that now it is Queer Eye and not Queer Eye for the straight guy, which, as I've seen in some of the other episodes, they deal with gay dudes and women, and there's it is although the pilot is very much the tried and true play in the hits crusty old guy who's going to ask him who wears the pants in their relationship and stuff like that, or no, he asked him who's the man and who's the woman in one of the Fab Five's marriage. So it's like you get that's
who wears the capri pants in this relationship.
Exactly. Yeah, and so you get the Fab Five very patiently understanding his heart and explaining to him like, all right, that's not something that you should be saying, but also here's a fun lesson in gender dynamics that we can all talk about. So it's like they play the hits there, but as I've seen in some of the other episodes, you get other lessons. And also the best thing about that show is as it's always has been. Oh, look, that's a cool thing. I should try doing that in my health regimen.
Yeah. Because like it's like just simple tips like put some stuff in your hair, dude, and you'll look better. And that's really as easy as it is.
It's like tips on like, so they had one on like the dude had a big beard, and it's like, oh well, you should always be shaping your beard to your chin. So you should look at what your chin is and then shape it toward that natural curvature. And it's like, oh, that's smart. I should next time I get my beard trim, I should have it a little bit more rounded because I have a tiny little weird round chin.
Yeah.
Brian?
Man, we'll be talking about it on Spoiler in Time over at Cord Killers, but I saw Sorry to Bother You. And my goodness, an increasingly rare and wonderful treat is when a movie really surprises you. And I absolutely guarantee you that this movie will surprise you. And I think that's all I'm going to say about it until you've seen it.
Yeah, I think Andrew's the last one who hasn't seen it yet. But
right, okay.
Well, we were talking. Justin and I were trying to talk about it a little bit before, and Andrew didn't want us to keep.
No.
Stop it.
Brian and I know Andrew's capacity for storytelling and therefore capacity for deciphering storytelling is legendary. I mean, this is somebody who has spoiled himself on movies by looking at posters.
Yes. And indeed picked up the phone and called the cinematographer of a certain J.J. Abrams vehicle based on the 1 minute trailer. Is like, so the ending of the movie, it's in this, right? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Then the movie comes out and it's exactly right.
Anyhow. I really look forward. I want to see that movie. So, Bryce?
I I got into this show when it debuted a couple years ago, and now there's a new season of it on Netflix. It's called Last Chance U. It's a documentary series on Netflix where they follow these community college level football teams as they take, players from Division I colleges who, for whatever reason, have to drop out of school or have trouble with the law and end up in these small rural towns trying to, prove themselves, build up their reel, and get back into, Division I or go to the NFL. And what was exciting about the last season was that it was like, okay, this is the year after the show was out, and so you were still following the same college, and people had become characters, and there was it was kind of known, but you could also tell that the head coach was really frustrated with the filming process, especially because they weren't doing so well. And so in this third season that just came out, it's a new school, a new head coach, new staff, new kids, and that's kind of refreshing in that you're not. They all know they're being filmed, and they know it's a Netflix show, and they've seen the show, and the show looks cool. But you get to see new people and new styles, and I think that's really good. And if you liked the past 2 seasons, they put up like this hour-long look back at like where everybody from the previous school is at now, and so they show what that football team did in the past season, and where the different staff went to, and how they're doing. So I think it's really cool, and they managed to tell like the tales of these football games every week very simply and easy enough and quickly enough to kind of get in and get attached to the various players and the tactics. So that's Last Chance U on Netflix.
It's very cool. I like the fact that they're not afraid to like change up in the season and do something different than follow the same, which cool thing about Netflix, they can play with models and try things different. And like was pointed out, like, on the idea with Queer Eye, that doing different people, not just trying to follow, it's got to be the straight guy. It's got to be this, like doing different things. Interesting about reality TV too, though, is that like when you watch a show, you watch a half hour or 22-minute show, hundreds of hours went into that. Means that there's a point at which the people being filmed just forget. They know their camera crews are there. They're so used to having so many different moments. You stop you do get kind of a reality that comes into play, because there's certainly a lot of moments are sort of created, but there's a lot of other stuff where you just sort of like, oh yeah, they're always here, so I guess I will be myself.
And you kind of get that with the previous school and the previous head coach, who was kind of this guy who would blow up and kind of he had a moment on, I guess, the first season where he was not talking so great about, the athletes and it was filmed because it's always filmed, and it did not make him look good. And you see him in the second season try to like react to that and try to like manage his anger, but you can feel the friction of like him trying to look good on camera and subsequently kind of hide more of his true self, and how frustrating that is as someone who was the head coach of a very high performance school.
I have one thing, quick note. People ask me about Shark Week. What about Shark Week? I've been told 2019 there's a number of shows that were shot later in the year, like mine. They're going to be airing during 2019. So that is all I know about my Shark Week show. So I wish I had more information, but I know that they. What's that?
Mark your calendars. Just
by the way,
circle.
watch Shark Week. There's a lot of great stuff right now. There's a lot of they did a bunch of shows with like Shaquille O'Neal and like Guy Fieri and Ronda Rousey. They have a bunch of fun, cool. They wanted to like, let's bring in a bunch of cool celebrity stuff and do that. And then they have a number. They shoot shows that like out of sequence as far as when years go or whatever. So it's one of these things where it's like, for me, it was a secret. I'm going to do it. And then they put out in a press release, Andrew Main's doing Shark Week. So I'm like, hey, I'm doing Shark Week. People being when? Like, well, we didn't say when. We didn't say when. Shark Week 2049, finding the last shark.
Remember sharks? They used to be a fish.
Yeah, then we ate them all. So I have a pick, and I'm going to tell you this. Like, I gave up on life, by the way. I just gave up.
Oh, don't do that.
Yeah, it sounds like you're not living your dopest life.
Yeah, live your dopest life.
Yeah.
Would you like some water?
Yeah. Have some water.
So, like, I work from home. A lot of us work from home. When you work from home, every day is casual Friday, and then casual Friday gets kind of more casual, and then one day you find yourself on the SpaceX site ordering, like, I don't know, 10 shirts of almost the same color because, like, I like this shirt. I wear this shirt every day. And then you're like, oh, there's a place called Outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
And I sometimes have to go into the outside world.
Yeah.
And maybe I shouldn't look like, my normal attire. I'm barefoot wearing shorts and a t-shirt, right? But then when I got to go put on grown-up pants and clothes, I got to go outside, and I'm like shopping. Like, I have some clothes that I like if I need to dress up, but with just sort of casual wear, I got SpaceX shirts. And I'm like, you know what? I should probably get some polo shirts or some shirts, just some semi kind of, because like I really did, like, I've got a meeting. I'm like, well, I don't need to dress up for this, but I probably don't want to show up in,
in a
yet
t-shirt.
another SpaceX shirt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, there's this gap in my wardrobe. I have nice stuff. I have super, super casual. I don't have intermediate. So, all right, I want to get some polo shirts. And I've bought over the years, really schmancy brands, Burberry and stuff like that, and been like, that's all right. I don't really know if I appreciate, the value there or whatever. And then sometimes it just ends up rumpled on the floor, and I'm like, all right. I've always sort of been like, no idea where to go, what to do, and like I don't like to buy clothes in person. I like to order online. They had Amazon Prime Day, and the Amazon Prime Day said, hey, we're having a special. One of the things we're selling, we're cheap. Our polos. We're selling our polos for Prime Day. They were like $9. They have Amazon has their own brand, which is called Amazon Essentials and not Basic, which would be kind of hilarious, but it is. So they have like standard. You want just a standard polo shirt? Yeah, we'll sell one. And this is Amazon basically hires a manufacturer to make them to their specifications, certain qualities, certain whatever. And so I'm like, I ordered one of them, like one or two of their polo shirts. God, it was a good fit. I'm like, oh, this is a really nice fit. This fits me as well as stuff I paid a lot more money for. Quality's good. And sort of ordered a bunch more. So that's my pick. Take a look at Amazon Essential Clothing if you're just looking for something that's like, I bought some pants, some cargo pants. They're perfectly fine. They're not like, I'm not obviously very much a clothes person. So, but that's
cool.
it. So if somebody says Andrew needs a career, no, I've got some nice stuff. I have a friend who's a stylist. When I want to go like style and get stuff that for meetings or whatever I'm doing, I have that. But just like, hey, I want to run to the store, but maybe not look like I just woke up. So
there you go.
That's my pick.
Well, especially waking up like Brian with a spider on your face, like you did.
True thing.
Ouch. Gentlemen, it's been weird.
Alrighty.
All right, boys. I'll see y'all later.
See you later, Justin.
I'm gonna see if there's a soda anywhere in this house.
All right, be right back.
Hi, everybody. Oh, Big Jim, it was sorry to bother you. This is back. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Between the Things. We got a lot of show titles, so I'm going to take a look at them at the Showbot, 9attack.showbot.tv. Here we go. Weird Sperm's pretty good. That's a mission quest thing. I kind of don't like doing the mission quest, journey quest stuff as titles. But I'll put that there. Spider Snake, what? That's going to be in the show notes. Deer Dong Ditch is pretty good, and that's a pretty good that's a pretty good misdirection. Rabies, no rabies, whatever. I took you to Spider Forest. Where Clet. Weenie Roast, Trident, not Dong. Yeah, I think. We're gonna do Deer Dong Ditch. Deer Dong Ditch is good. We're gonna do that. Thank you, everybody who's finished show titles. Write that down. Deer Dong Ditch. I'm sick of fighting the things that you said. I don't wanna burn all up. Oh, by the way, I haven't watched Last Chance to 7 followers the show, but I tipped off. No, they're at Independence, Kansas for season 3. So yeah, it could be that. Yeah, we kind of knew that it would be a different school for season 3 because you're right. There were camera crews around, but no, they're at Independence, Kansas. So it's just like an interesting thing where this new school, where the old school EMCC was like number 1 in their division, Independence is like rock bottom, you know, 0 and 10, 1 and 10, doing real bad. But their whole thing is like, well, we just got a new coach who was coaching at one of the other really strong schools in their division. You know, he's built out our new training program. Waits coach brought staff with him, with the idea being like, well, you know, he's gonna redeem this, and that creates different stories and different problems compared to like the story of a head coach at the school that does very well. Jimmy Two Dimes says it's a marketable show title. I can't fathom the patience of the student advisor from the first 2 seasons. Yeah, she seems like a very sweet person. If you liked those first 2 seasons, I really recommend checking out that like Where Are They Now thing. I only was able to get like 20 minutes into it today, but she's like one of the first people that they touch on, and you know, she's working with other schools and other student athletes and stuff, and it's great. You know, she's, you know, a genuinely nice person, I think. Jimmy Two Times, is it on Netflix? It is. You have to look under, like, they call it its own separate season, so you might have to go to episodes and more. Hey, Brian.
Hello.
Or more episodes, I think is what it is.
There's not a single soda in this house, and I found out that our ice machine doesn't work, so I'm having room temperature water.
Oh no.
So I was on Amazon. I use Amazon Fresh.
Yeah.
By the way, Jeff Bezos has not paid me off, just to make that very clear. Oh, what is this? My Blue Origin hat.
Yeah, for some reason I lost all my t-shirts
like,
over.
What's that?
I was gonna say, I lost all my t-shirts over the weekend.
I actually emailed them about like, hey, like, you guys thought about selling like merch? It's like, you know, like, I'm a SpaceX fanboy, but I'm really just a fan of people doing cool stuff in space. So, anyhow, but I was on Amazon Prime, or you know, Fresh. They had, I ordered this before. I tried to get some of their Diet Coke. They're all out, and then they had this cherry Coke. And then they had the feisty cherry, which I had before, which is feisty. And I went there, and they're like, "Hey, you can buy a case of this for 25 cents."
Wait, what? 25 cents a can?
Yeah, a case for one case, but like you can only order like one. But
Jeez,
that's crazy.
Just trying to figure out if you know, I don't know if it's because it's selling really well or not at all. And they're just trying to unload it.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard of the feisty cherry, but I do feel like I remember hearing them saying like, "Oh, we're gonna have some weird flavors out there."
They do. Roshni, what do you think of feisty cherry? It's like, I can throw it in the garbage for you. I'm like, oh, thanks.
Okay. You guys good for after thing?
Yeah. Do we have a topic lined up?
Yeah, I got a topic for you.
Okay.
Then. Looking good over here. If you're good to go.
Good to go.
All right. Take it away in 3, 2.
Welcome to the After Things podcast. I'm Andrew Main, joined by Brian Brushwood.
Hello.
And Mr. Bryce Castillo.
Hi, everybody. Welcome.
So, gentlemen, I have a question I want to throw to the council here. I write books, you know, it's a thing.
When?
Sometimes I dabble. Sometimes I swim with maybe great white sharks. I don't know. I'm not saying anything. I don't know. Maybe, you know, maybe 8 of them at one time outside of a cage. Who knows? Can't say. But anyhow, what I want to talk about, though, is audiobooks, audiobook formats, things like this. Normally, when I do a book with, let's say, my Jessica Blackwood series with HarperCollins, they do the audiobook. They get the audiobook rights. They do that. I did my new book series with Thomas and Mercer, Theo Cray. They do the audiobooks. I had audiobooks done with Tantor for Orbital and Station Breaker, and I thought they did a really good job producing those, putting those out there. I have some other books, and audiobooks are exploding. I've been approached by a audiobook publisher, like, hey, we'd like to publish these other audiobooks. And part of me is like, cool, you know, hey, money, they'll pay me money for the rights, and they'll do the adaptations on it and all that. But another part of me is like, hey, I've had conversations with friends in the industry who took audiobooks real seriously, produced their own. Amazon or Audible has a program called ACX where you can either split with a narrator producer or pay outright and basically own the lion's share of the book, get 50% of the profits for every audiobook sold. Plus they do things like bonuses. So if I say, hey guys, check out my book on Audible, and the first book they get is my book, then you get a $50 bonus.
So like doing it yourself for a better cut, basically.
Yeah, that's the advantage. Is you do it yourself, you get a much better cut. You have higher upfront costs. You either have to produce it yourself or pay somebody to produce it. But I'm looking at like residuals, return, and it's like,
Well, so one of the things, this is similar to, I think Tim Ferriss told the story of when it came time to publish a book. He had a number of publishers that were interested. But he started to realize, like, well, what did the publisher do for me last time? Because basically publishers are in a weird spot where, yeah, they want good books, but good books are a dime a dozen. What they want is an author with a reputation and a name and a platform who can move those books. And then, of course, different publishers have different abilities to push them with large-scale buyers. But if I'm remembering the Tim Ferriss story correctly, he ultimately said, well, how hard would it be to make a publishing company? And now anyone could get their book printed, but that's not the same. You have to have certain standards and everything. So he built a publishing company to publish his next book because he knew that he wouldn't have to give up any money that way, and he knew that he could use his platforms to move it. And now he publishes, I believe, other people's books as well. It seems like that we're entering a similar age in the audiobook age, as now all of a sudden, because everybody is carrying a device on them at all times that make it possible to listen to whatever audio entertainment they like. Now we're seeing another land rush, and so it would make sense that in the early days, that's a big boon for audiobook publishers. But now a lot of people, I would imagine, are figuring out, oh wait, what happens if I just publish my audiobook?
Well, and that's it. There's a point where it's like, no, the amount of time you'll spend versus what you will make on it, it's not really worthwhile to do it. And for most authors, that's the case. But I'm in a position now where I look at, like, I started by doing audiobooks. We did our own with Public Enemy Zero. Justin did the narration for it. And we sold a few of those, did pretty well. The ACX didn't exist then. We didn't have a really easy way to put on to Amazon. Had that existed, I think things would have been different. And then I got out of the way of doing it. And then I look at, like, the offers right now for, I have a great agent, and so I'm very happy with, the way things work out there. But I look at it with the fact I have a platform. I don't have a Tim Ferriss sized platform, but we have weird things. I have after things. I have, pretty good Twitter following. I have a pretty extensive email list. And I look at it like, well, man, just getting people to read the first book, if I get them to sign up, getting those Audible signups through there, that alone can be pretty lucrative. I know, Scott Sigler's talked about, like, how much he's made. Like, when that first started, he did really well by that. And Scott's, doing extremely well by his audiobooks. He does very smart things. He gets great narrators who have their own following to do this. And so it's like, yeah, you're trying to, like, for me, it's like, I haven't done it because of the time, and then I didn't do audiobooks or Station Breaker and Orbital because of time. And then a publisher came along and says, hey, we'll go do this. So, for me, it was kind of like thinking, well, maybe it should be worth my time to do this. And, and that's the thing, is if you have a platform and I have a platform, kind of like maybe,
Well, it certainly seems like you could do it, but I do wonder that the time is a big, element of it. If you're handing it off to someone, you can say, cool, pay now and figure it out, and you don't have to get into the weeds on it.
The ACX program, which was Audible, has this program which allows you to produce your audiobook through there. Okay. And the way it works is basically you can go in there and you can say, hey, I want to find a narrator and I'll split the profits with them. That's one way to do it. Or you can go in there and say, hey, I will pay somebody. I'll hire a narrator to do my audiobook. and I'll pay them up front, but then it's exclusively distributed through Audible. That's the only platform it goes from. But it's kind of like, I hate to say this, but I kind of feel like the same way I do about Amazon in general when it comes to ebooks. It's the platform. It really is the platform. I've rooted for other platforms, but their tools aren't as good. They're not as author friendly as they try to be. And it's been frustrating because I get people, I've had people like, why don't you use our platform from this? Because I can't do this. Oh, we're going to, you should support us. I'm like, you should support the people you want to use your platform, not say, have me give up something else.
How much do you think you would have to lean on ACX to provide or get you in contact with, producer or a narrator?
Oh, it's a very streamlined system. If you go there, it's literally you say, hey, put out a request, you do this. So they've got the system done really well. I would like to find out, I would like to go for, I'd be willing to pay for a really good popular narrator too. That's the thing, is I'd be willing to pay the money to get somebody who's got name recognition. And I'm going to, part of the thing that's in the back of my head as I talk to my agent about this whole thing is that back in 1975, George Lucas made a deal with 20th Century Fox for Star Wars films, and he had a pretty good deal up front, but then they went over budget and they renegotiated, and the one thing Lucas was able to cling to was, of course, the merchandising rights, because at that point it wasn't really valuable. And that's the way audiobook rights have sort of been thought about. Ebook rights were sort of like, we'll see if that really blossoms. And then the ebooks became big, and I make most of my money from ebooks. And then I feel that way about audiobook rights, where it's like, it doesn't make that much money. It's like, there are people making a lot with it, and it's growing. It's going to be bigger, not smaller. And that's for part of me is like, do I want to sell a bunch of my titles now? I mean, I'll keep coming up with new stuff that I could do that for, but that's the thing.
It sounds worth at least trying it out for one of your titles. I don't know if you're in a do or die situation with this offer, but
I guess also you really do kind of only sell off those rights once and forever, because all the audiobooks I've heard from yours that have been done by the existing publishing houses, they sound good enough that I can't imagine anyone's going to go back and do a better version of the reading for all that stuff. So it is kind of a forever decision that you make, and but then you just got to make sure that whatever it is, like, that's going to be the audiobook recording of note. And so you'll need to there's I have a friend who figured out how to use Photoshop, and because he was using Photoshop, he used the tools of Photoshop, and he thinks that what he's doing is great. And I'm not saying you lack the eye of quality, but he lacked the eye of quality, and as a result, I was like, well, that's your poster, okay. And then I guess you don't know what you don't know, right? And that's the only downside to doing this, is there's some level of expertise that you're buying when you buy into one of these ecosystems. But then, having said that, like, I've worked with traditional publishers, and it's like, they churn this crap out all day long. We got back. I'm not gonna say. Anyway, when you deal with the publisher, you give up control, and they might not care about certain parts the way you care about those certain parts.
So I've had friends that worked with publishers that then went to go said, we'll do the audiobooks. And then part of that deal, that publisher then used ACX and used some rando. I've had people who've had bad narrators on their books, and they're locked in because they did the partnership agreement, and they can't, which is like, that's one thing I'm like, I would rather, because like they're like, it's cheap, we just do a profit split. It's like, yeah, your audiobook sucks and nobody buys it, so you're doing a profit loss. So I would be like, for me, like, I'd be willing to pay up front for a really good name. And like, little suggestions in here, people mentioned R.C. Bray. There are people out there that like if I, after listening to like Game of Thrones or like some Peter Hamilton, if I saw like, was it Jim Lee was doing some others, what's that?
John Lee.
Yeah, John Lee. If I saw his brother, it's cheaper. Yeah. If I saw John Lee was doing some other sci-fi thing, I'd be like, maybe this will be the same experience, or
at least close to it. And also, I mean, you're right, because there are certain books where it's like, some of these guys just have a mastery to convey such nuance between characters, and it really does make such an important difference in the audiobook experience.
Oh my God. I'm listening to an audiobook that you've mentioned a lot, dealing with no names, no titles or names, but maybe dealing with a topic similar of, space disaster and a big far-flung story. And the narrator, her voices are horrible, horrible. And I've worked with, like, I like the woman who does my, it's always weird when one person does a different voice, voice from a different gender. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There's a way to find out. And I've listened to, like, male narrators do female characters. You're like, this is a caricature. It's horrible. This is just, but I'm listening the other way here where, like, and it's just these accents and stuff are just bad. And it takes me out of the story because I'm like, this is comically bad. This is really, really bad. I'm amazed this got released like this.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you know the publisher who made you that offer? Do you know their track record with audiobook releases?
They're solid. They're a big audiobook publisher. I think that, but it comes down to there's a certain amount of control that regardless who I work with, that I'm giving up, and also the opportunity cost. Part of it is that like I know, like they're not going to pay as much to get a narrator that I want. I don't think they'll go with a bigger name, and also that whole the $50 bounty thing is a big deal. Like Open Bayou pulled this up, an ACX article from 2014 they interviewed Scott Sigler, and Scott talked about making like 20 grand, all in one span of time from his fans doing the signups for that. And that's a big deal. This is like literally 4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and the industry's grown and they still do that. So it's to me, it's so easy now that, like, it's not like it was a couple years ago where I avoided doing it because I didn't want to have to process the files. And now because now that what's happened too is Audible's kind of combined the narrator producer role together. You hire that narrator, they handle the production part of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's
wow.
not like I'm getting a bunch of audio files, so I got to format it. I just say, hey, either I'll do the split or, get a good one. Like, I'll pay you whatever to go do this. And
because this is after things, the only downside I can see is the temptation to we've talked about on this program a lot about the temptation to quote unquote do things right is oftentimes the perpetual reason why something doesn't get done at all.
Perfect being the enemy of good.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, hey, how come you haven't launched that show yet? Oh no, when I do, I'm going to do it right. And there's always very good reasons to wait. So if you are in a place where you have the time bandwidth, and it sounds like you're in a place where you could spend the money to get the level of talent that you're interested in, the only thing I would encourage you to do is set deadlines for it, so that it doesn't become an always on the back burner, just about to happen kind of thing.
100%. No, I'm looking at it like literally like, and then because I was looking at this program like, hey, I think I may go do this sooner or later. And then I got, this publisher, and I'm like, oh boy. And now I got to decide. And then if I decide, I'll make it happen. But from when I look at ACX, it's gotten so much easier to use. Like literally I clicked on, while talking to you, I go, I'm an author. Like, what's your book? I type in Public Enemy Zero, pulls up, hey, here's your info on your book. Just create an account. And it's like, oh man, like being part of that, it's already in that ecosystem. So
that's when it comes to the Amazon ecosystem, there's a couple of brothers, Brian and Jeffrey Eisenberg, wrote a book, Be Like Amazon. They spent a lot of time trying to figure out what works about Amazon. I think I mentioned some of this, but one of the stickier images that I liked is a reminder that friction exists in any transaction. The question is, do you want the customer to experience that friction, or do you want to do what it takes to make it a frictionless experience for the customer? And that's something that Amazon, behind the scenes, we've seen them make all these logistical breakthroughs and automate things and all that stuff. That was an insane amount of time, energy, and money that went in to create all that. But it really does create this frictionless experience for the consumer. And now it sounds like they're doing the same thing for producers as well. They're making it a frictionless experience to get your books over there, to create a more efficient marketplace.
They've done that to the point that, like, if you use CreateSpace, which is another one of their companies, to do a print version of your book, they've improved the tools a bit. Some of those tools could be a lot better, but they've improved it a lot. Once you make a print version of your book and you've uploaded that audio file, they have a link like, hey, I want to make this an ebook. Click this button. We'll just take this. And if you do an ebook, like, hey, want to make this a print book? We'll show you how to create space. Like they They've really done that. And I've taken that to heart. Like when I have a project right now and like I'm spending a lot of time at code project, like I've got to make this as frictionless as possible because it's one of those things where there are like so many times where like, I want to go buy this. Oh, I'm sorry. We only use this payment system. We don't use these other ones. Like there's the donation one that I've gone to donate multiple times. Like, oh no, you've got to go do this other thing. I'm like, I'm sorry. If you gave me a PayPal button, you'd have money,
Right.
but you didn't. And my caring ended, which is a horrible thing to say.
And exactly like what you want is the feeling of I did a good thing. They now have money. And what you don't want to do is have a homework assignment that involves making this a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think I've taken it to heart. I think once I make my decision, then I need to make the thing happen and do that.
Hey, so if you don't mind scooting into picks, today's a weird one because I have more homework than usual going into Cord Killers. I do have a pick that I'm excited about, and yeah, you know that awesome feeling when you when you hear about a podcast and you start listening to it, and the first episode you're like, oh, I get it, and I like this, and then you just feel this wave of, and there's 60 more to go, and you just realize this is going to be what you listen to for the next month.
Sure.
I just had that for a podcast called Business Wars. I heard about it from one of the folks who was doing an appearance on Harmontown, and they were talking about how they take all the great wars of business. They tell the two sides. In this case, I am starting with Sony versus Nintendo. And so it's a 6-episode arc where, of course, you have to hear about how did Nintendo come to launch the NES? You know, what was their story? Because they were a playing card company that just got highly experimental. They ran a taxi service at one point. They rented hotels by the hour for the love hotels. And then at some point they had this 6-in-1, hook it up to a TV game gadget, and it took off. And then they had
with a robot.
Did it? No. You're talking about the NES. All
right. Not the
this is before we get to the NES, right? Because before that,
it was the Game & Watch. Before
Game
that.
& Watch. Yeah.
They did. That was their second hit,
Yeah.
right? The first one was like a Pong thing or whatever, 6-in-1 Pong thing. But then the Game & Watch thing took off. And interestingly, and then Donkey Kong, when they shipped it over, the American side of things, they uncrated this thing, and they're like, "You got to be freaking kidding me! This isn't in space. This is a dumpy dude in overalls, and what is a Donkey Kong? Like this is all nonsense." And of course, it became one of the biggest games. When they launched the NES, they couldn't get any retailer to carry it. All the retailers, 2 years, they went to CES, and 2 years, all the retailers said, nope, we just watched the crash, Atari's out. It's clear that video games are not a thing anymore. Yeah. And then, and so the
good call on that.
They called back to Japan where they were selling like crazy, and they're like, yeah, everyone says video games are not a thing. And the reply from Nintendo Japan was like, they're wrong. People they're not done with games, they're done with bad games. And so they picked one market. They picked New York City, and they spent millions and millions and millions of dollars to force basically putting it on the market and to advertise it in that space. And they only sold 50,000 units over that year, but it was good enough that now they had the attention of the retailers. And then of course, that rolled out. And then interestingly, then you hear about stuff from the Sony side as they were developing the PlayStation. Yeah. There's lots of interesting stories about what they intended to do with it and how it went sideways.
Because the PlayStation was originally going to be a Nintendo 64 collaboration with Nintendo.
Exactly, right? Yeah. But so now they're taking on Nintendo, and they're taking meetings with Konami. And the guy from Konami says, look, hey, when you sell 3 million, we will consider making games for it. Until then, this is too speculative or whatever. And then he's just getting ready to leave, and the guy's like, hey, by the way, we do games. We every year we run a study on whether or not we should build a console, and every year the answer comes back, no, you're not going to beat Nintendo. It's too big of a gamble or whatever. And so they figured out that they needed to go on a charm offensive if they were going to woo developers into it. They only had Namco, and they're like, we can't launch with this. And in Nintendo press conferences, they're openly laughing and mocking Sony. They're like, yeah, give it a year, nobody will care. And then they figured out they needed to speak to the interests of the developer, and so then they only hammered on two things. Number one, or I guess three things. Number one, lower licensing fees than Nintendo, which you would expect. But then they kept hammering on discs are cheap and fast to make. Cartridges are not. Yeah, average cost of constructing a cartridge is $30. It is $6 to press the CD. When you run out because you have a runaway hit, it takes 3 months to make cartridges and get them out. It takes 3 weeks to get it out with CDs. And so now all of a sudden they had the interest, and so I'm about halfway through it. But this whole podcast, Business Wars, is filled with all these stories. Coke versus Pepsi, all these.
That's great.
Real quick ad to that point. It sounds like that a lot of that, like the book by Stephen Kent, which is the ultimate history of video games. On 21 hours, I love reading about or listening to the history of video games more than I love playing them. It goes into those stories, everything, the whole story of service games. Where did Sega come from? All of that. And it's an amazing story. They go into like the whole history of the Famicom, Game and Watch, all that stuff, different companies, Atari, which is if you want to dive way deeper into that, which it sounds like this podcast is a great point to go, this is cool, I want to know more. But yeah, the ultimate history of video games.
I'm going to pick that up right now.
I absolutely adored this thing. Like I gave this 5 stars all across. So
ultimate history.
And Polygon did a really long oral history on Final Fantasy VII last year or the year before, and it was a very similar thing because that was right around the time of the PlayStation launch, and so they talked to the people who were at Square at the time of like being wooed by Sony and having to basically kill this long-standing relationship that they had with Nintendo because the PlayStation had better hardware, it had discs and the licensing fees and stuff. All that stuff is fascinating when you get into the weeds of like the business side of it and how those relationships change.
I mean, and it really is such an interesting chicken and egg scenario. You need to have the titles to get the people to sell the units so that you could attract the developers for the titles.
Yeah,
that was what made Microsoft's interested in the Xbox, and their first solution was we'll buy Bungie.
All right, so I just bought the ultimate history of video games.
Brian, I mean, you're going to get even more out of it than I did, and I loved it because it was just so cool. Bryce,
if we're doing podcasty sort of stuff, I picked this on the show a little while ago, and they're about to have a new episode, so I'm going to pick it again. It's the Dark Ages podcast, darkagesshow.com. It is a monthly audio drama disguised as a podcast. About it's a workplace comedy in a fantasy museum.
Oh, so hold on. This sounds, if I'm categorizing it correctly, like a Welcome to Night Vale type thing, where it's pretending to be one thing, but you're really hearing the story of what.
Yeah, and it's not even really. It's not like Night Vale, where Night Vale is like a radio show kind of thing. This is just it's an audiobook, but it's a monthly podcast.
Got it.
And it is great. They have really fantastic readers. And it's interesting to see it as a piece of writing, not just as a piece of like production, because you're like, oh, how do we get this character, when we don't have any stage direction or any sort of narrator to say what they're thinking? Oh, well, I don't know. We'll make him go on a walk during a quiet alley, and this is the alley where he goes and talks his thoughts, and little things like that.
They make him like E.B. Farnham in Deadwood, just constantly talking to himself.
Yeah, and I think it's really funny, and the stories that they set up of like, oh, well, this museum just got this great new crown from the Dark Lord. But the Dark Lord wants his crown back. Oh. And the way they resolve that and how they continue to build on top of that in the second episode is really good. And they have a new third episode coming up in a week or so. So I'm really excited for that. It's the Dark Ages.
We live in an amazing time of audio. I mean, audio being, we're here, you're thinking this is the point when everybody excited about 3D and things like this. What we're really excited about is all the different platforms in which we can enjoy audio, because production costs are a lot lower, but we have so much more time to consume those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So it's cool. I'm going to stick with, my pick will be The Ultimate History of Video Games.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. You
21 hours.
I was astonished. I'm looking at it right now. 634 ratings, and it looks like it's almost perfectly 5 stars.
Yeah. And it's, it's a 21 hours. So you just Kent really did his research. I don't know if he did anything else either. It was one of these things like, I remember like, I'm going to read everything by this guy. And then it was like, that's the
already did.
So what time range is this? It looks like, it's going back to, the late 70s. But does this, how far into the future? Or
how close to present day does it get?
Well, I guess this was printed in 2001, so probably
I think 2001 is kind of where it sort of comes to a stop.
That's one of the nice things is like, I'm pretty sure I know what happens, give or take, after that part.
Yeah, I guess
I went on a kick after I read this, and then I read the service games, which is all about Sega. I read things about Mario composing. I read things. I think I had the story about like Doom. I read a bunch of different sort of things. I just went sideways into like more specific stories about other ones. So there's a lot of great, like, more about, because you can take one game, one game company, you can do an entire history on it. And gaming is funny because, and it's the argument I kind of try to make is that if you're a gamer and you're into games, it feels like it's everybody knows about it, everybody's into it. Where if you don't play it, you don't know it. Where a movie, you can see a trailer, you can know about a movie. We all know about movies that we don't see. We barely, if you don't play a certain game, like, I mean, I'll watch, like, I had to watch an introduction to Fortnite because, like, I need to know what this is. I'm not going to play it, but I want to understand what people are talking about and then trying to get, like, why is this so cool,
Well, and as more smaller development teams and publishers are able to make more games and, have a closer connection to their fan base, and when they only need a smaller fan base to have success, on these digital marketplaces, you have more history stories being told every week. There was a thing last week about this developer who made a sequel to a game that they put out last year, an okay sort of battle royale type game that they just went and made a complete different sequel to, and a single digit number of people bought it. And so they were like, okay, well, we're canceling this game that we released. We were all getting refunds because we misread everything. But all of that is happening in real time and very immediately. There's like video of the COO saying like, we misread the room and you guys clearly didn't want this game. You wanted us to keep supporting this other online game. And, there are always stories like that. But I bet you guys probably didn't even hear about that story at all.
What was the title again?
The Culling and the Culling 2.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, definitely didn't.
But stuff like that is happening constantly, and untold numbers of backdoor things,
Yeah.
It's a crazy world. It's getting all niche-y. Mm-hmm. Gentlemen, it's been after.
Woo.
Yay. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
I gotta run.
All right. So do
all
we.
Right.
We'll see you guys in a few hours for Cord Killers. Bye-bye.
Yeah. See you guys.